I'm Slate.
I'm Ellison.
What happened there?
Shit. Hold on.
So off to a good start.
Well, Josh.
I thought I turned my computer off for a second.
Oh, no.
And
Okay.
here's Josh.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
Whoever said orange was the new pink was seriously disturbed.
And when it comes to huge openings, a lot of people think of me.
Just call me a fuck ass.
Brilliant. Scary. I get nasty when I'm horny.
Welcome to Not Another 2001 Movie Podcast, a show exploring movies released during the first year of a chaotic century. Today, we're going to dream big and shoot for the stars. I'm Slate.
I'm Ellison.
I'm Josh.
Alrighty, guys. Y'all are going to have to bear with, I think, all three of us today. I think we're all sort of fighting off a little cold, so if you hear some sniffles, we'll try to stifle the coughs and everything. But everybody here is kind of battling through, so...
We're real podcasters. We're going to tough it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Fighting through it while we also fight through this blizzard that we had here in Kentucky as well. It's great to see you guys' faces. We're kind of pushing this a little bit later into the week. But let's go ahead and get right into it. We always start this show with a question, and I threw the question out to you guys, and it didn't seem like you all really had anything memorable, which happens. But the question was... what's the craziest or weirdest dream you've ever had? So Josh and Allison, you both have kind of decided to plead the fifth on this one. You don't have anything that comes to mind, correct?
It's like you know that you've had weird dreams, and I remember telling somebody about a weird dream like the morning after, and then it just is gone for your memory. I will say that like some of the worst nightmares I've had are that I'm pregnant. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh God, oh thank God, oh thank God.
Is the nightmare more that you're pregnant or that you're trying to figure out who the father is?
Why not?
Damn,
both?
Josh.
That sounds like I'm making an accusation, and I'm not. I'm just.
She's a very classy woman.
I'm gonna go
just
out
because
on a
she
limb
went to the
and
Moulin
say
Rouge
that I don't think I've known who the father is in any of those dreams. So
doesn't mean she worked there. She just visited.
Yeah, I'm with Allison. It's hard for me to. Now, what's weird is I do like keep like a dream.
You also
journal.
dream that you're pregnant.
I do keep it like I'll wake up and we'll write stuff down from dreams. Like it's more like an idea list, things that come through me during the day. But I was reading back through some of that stuff, and I'm like, what was I even writing? Like it's like I'm like half asleep, and still it's like it's so goofy shit. I did think of something. As far as a story, but I still don't even think of it as a dream because I think it really happened. Now this was like my, it's like conspiracy corner over here for me. I'm very like me and several of my cousins and my sisters we were probably, or I was 9, 10 probably, so whatever they would have been, and probably I might have been a little younger, but we all swear that we saw glowing green people, not aliens, not, little green aliens or anything, but people walking by a big window in our house that was like at the house we were living at the time. And
it was like the Cullens in the daylight, but they were green.
No, I'm thinking more Mr. Burns in
yes,
the episode of The Simpsons where he's like, I
Mr.
bring
Burns
you
like,
love. And they think he's an alien.
They were glowing green and walked towards, like, our uncle lived behind us, and we're walking towards his house. And I'm still not unconvinced that like we didn't see like radioactive coal miners or something. Like I really like think it could have been something real crazy like that. Or we all had a collective dream, and that was
All right. Well,
that's maybe more likely. But what's the fun in that?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, mostly for me, I'm like you. Like I very very rarely have a dream anymore. Or, well, I guess, remember, they say you dream 7 times a night or whatever, right? But, I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a dream that I remembered. I do, like, distinctly remember what you say about, like, deja vu. Like, there are definitely times that I have a dream that is very real, and 6 months later, that situation is the situation I'm in, and I dreamed it, and I know I dreamed it. Honestly, the last time that happened was, I had a dream that I got a serious phone call while I was like in Walmart from my dad about my mother and her condition not being well. And I don't know, probably 8-9 months, maybe a year later, I was in Walmart when my dad called me and told me that my mom's lung condition was not getting better and she was going to die. So that was like the last time that happened, and that was pretty crazy. But the most like distinct, odd, weird dream that I remember, and I really only remember highlights or bits and pieces of it now, and I don't remember like how long ago I had this dream, but it is one that has stuck with me. I probably should have mentioned it when we were doing the Hannibal podcast, but I felt like it's perfect for this. Like, I felt like I should save it for a dream story because it is a dream. But I want you to imagine a 20-something odd year old Slate stuck in a cave underground, stranded in this cave, and there's like only a little bit of light that's lit by a fire or a torch. And I want you to imagine kind of what Robin Williams looks like in Jumanji when he comes out of the jungle, when he first comes back and he's got all the hair and the beard and everything. But I want you to imagine that it's not Robin Williams that is there that I'm seeing and speaking with. It's Anthony Hopkins. And he's naked. I don't know why. But I had like a homeless, naked, bearded Anthony Hopkins stuck in a cave underground with me, and we like talk and chit chat, and he tells me how much he hates Hannibal Lecter, and like that movie was the first movie was fun, but the rest were just for the money, and there's nothing challenging about that character anymore. Which actually kind of seems to uphold like what happens. But the best part is then me and him just start like reenacting movie scenes together. Like it's so weird. I don't know. That was the oddest, craziest, weirdest dream I've ever had.
I hope that
I will
dream
never
is
forget.
Predictive of something that will happen in real life in the future, honestly.
If I ever go cave dwelling, and there's a naked Anthony Hopkins, you all will be the first to know. I promise. Yeah. So that was my dream. Obviously, we're going to be talking about dreams today, because we are discussing David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. So dreams definitely play a big part in this movie. So it's a good conversation. But we decided to release this movie. I selected this movie in the Criterion Collection of the Draft. It's, one of the biggest, widely loved films of all time when it comes to choices for collections and critics and everything else. And we'll get into that, but it's also released this week, and we're decided to throw it in with some Oscar talk. So the Oscar nominations were released this week. There's tons of movies that are up. Like Sinners got 16 nominations, I believe, which is the most ever. Yeah, that's wild. I really loved Sinners. I think Sinners is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. I don't quite necessarily think it's a best picture, but for some reason, like of all the best picture nominations that I've watched, it's probably my favorite. But it doesn't seem like worthy, if that makes sense.
I don't know that like it getting 16 nominations. I don't know that in another year that would have happened. I mean, like Titanic had what, 14? Fellowship of the Ring had 13.
You think it's a bad year for movies?
I don't know. I'd have to go and like actually do some dig. Like it just seems there are so like fewer movies released in the theater now, especially post COVID. And people will. We talked about like comedies end up on streaming instead of going to the theater, and even a lot of action movies. And there's like this push for like, oh, we're gonna had this streaming, but we're going to release it in the theater for a week just so it's Oscar eligible. It just seems like there's fewer. The field is smaller, maybe. Or maybe that's just my perception of it because there's so few things in the theater that like are options for me to go see compared to years past.
As far as legitimate contenders go, I can definitely see where you would say the field is smaller while also the nominations have gotten larger. So maybe the quality does seem a little bit different. Let's go through the list real quick. So The Secret Agent, Best Picture nominations are The Secret Agent. I don't know anything about this movie.
It's probably what's going to win Best Foreign.
So it's a foreign film.
I mean, just the fact that it got nominated for Best Picture seems like it would probably give it a good run.
Okay. Begonia, starring Emma Stone and why am I drawing a blank on his name? I just
Jesse
said
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons, giving off some serious Matt Damon vibes in this
fake
movie.
Matt Damon.
He really does give off Timu Matt Damon vibes in this movie, but I like it. And I don't like Matt Damon, but I like it.
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
I've seen bits and pieces of Breaking Bad. I watched the whole first season, and after they killed Tuco, I kind of just checked out.
So Jesse Plemons shows up in one of the later seasons, and people nicknamed him Meth Damon.
Oh, that's funny. I've never made that comparison to him ever in my life. It just feels like that in Begonia, so that's funny. But Begonia was actually a really fun movie. It's creative. I do like it. Still don't know if it's like a Best Picture nom, but obviously it is. So Marty Supreme starring Timothée Chalamet. I watched the trailer for it today. Really would like to see this movie. I just did not have time to go out to theaters to catch it. And it's not available to stream yet.
It didn't even come out till around Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
Christmas. So it's been out a month. Right at a month. So
yeah, we're recording this right after the nominations come out. You'll be hearing this. It'll be a couple weeks before the Oscars are actually decided, listeners. But that's the magic of podcasting right there.
Other than that, you've got Train Dreams. I don't know much about this movie.
It's on Netflix, I believe.
Okay. All right. F1 with Brad Pitt, the Apple movie. Which, if this movie does not win Best Sound, I will be amazed. Between just everything going on in this movie, the sound of course kicks ass. It's like Maverick, but with cars, Indy cars. But I'm not gonna lie to you, F1 has thoroughly impressed me. It's 2.5 hours and it is jam packed. It is not slow. The performances are great. Of course Jerry Bruckheimer's in his bag with this one, but Brad Pitt, it's got some depth to it. It's a good movie. I really enjoyed it. Javier Bardem's in it as well. I'm unsure of the kid's name, but the rookie driver that Brad Pitt is kind of teaming up with in the movie, he does a really good job as well. I should probably get his name. Sinners, of course. Frankenstein, the Guillermo del Toro movie with Oscar Isaac and your guy from Jacob Elordi. Is that how you say his name? Mm-hmm. From Euphoria. Then you've got the Spielberg movie Hamnet, which is about Shakespeare writing Hamlet, which is named after his son, right, that passed away. Then you've got Paul Thomas Anderson's movie One Battle After Another, which is starring Leo DiCaprio, Sean Penn. There's a lot of people in that movie available on HBO Max right now. And then lastly, you've got Sentimental Value, which is another one that I'm not sure I've heard of until today.
It's another one that's in the best, best international.
Mm-hmm. I've read about it. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I feel like so uneducated for this podcast because I've seen so few of these movies, and normally I've seen more. I did watch One Battle After Another. I liked it way more than I thought it would, honestly. I saw the trailer for it so many times in the theater that I was just sick of it.
Well, the trailer also does not do a good job of selling what it is.
Yeah,
it doesn't give you anything. It's just like Leo DiCaprio running around screaming.
Well,
it's revolution.
They're trying to sell it as like a comedy, and I'm like
an action comedy, and it's not even really an action movie. There's action sequences, but it's a lot of more just hanging out.
Tiana Taylor might be my favorite part of that movie.
She's
awesome.
Great.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She was nominated for Best Supporting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I mean, I feel like she should
Her
have
being like full on 9 months pregnant with her belly hanging out, shooting that machine gun. It's just like, damn.
Yeah.
I bet that
she
was
was
fun
awesome.
to shoot.
I think this. I've not seen every movie, so I'm not at all qualified to say this. But of what I've watched, this is my favorite Leo DiCaprio performance too, because I just think he's
Really?
Oh yeah, I just think
Like,
I just
out
like
of
this
all of
kinda
his movies,
character.
this is your favorite
of what I've
performance?
seen. Now, I granted,
Okay.
I've not seen a lot of like I've not seen like he won for The Revenant, right? Like I've not watched
Yeah.
The Revenant.
Oh, dude, The Revenant's amazing.
Yeah, it's something that's. I mean, I'll get around to it, but of what I've watched, this is like by far my favorite because I like the. I think it's more because I like the character. I just think it's a real like it feels. He feels very lived in. It's like and it's just different from what I kind of expect of him, or at least what I've grown accustomed to seeing him.
Oh, okay, so
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, and I mean, and I think but I say that to say I don't think he should win as much as like it's my favorite performance of his that I've seen, and he's obviously like one of probably the last movie star, one of the last movie stars that we have. I think personally, from what I've watched, I think I want to see Michael B. Jordan win. I think
That's what I do.
Like,
I mean, he's playing two characters.
yeah, two
in
characters
Sinners,
in there.
and he's playing them in a way that you can tell which one is which. You can tell which one's Smoke and which one's Stack just by what they're saying and the way. And I think that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Okay, time out
sure.
though. Time out. I'm not disagreeing with you on this at all because I do agree with that. But also, that is so unfair to Tom Hardy because Legend. Have you seen Legend?
Let's see. No, I'm gonna go with no.
Okay, Legend is a English mobster movie based on a true story about two twin brothers, and Hardy plays both of them, and it is fucking amazing. Like, the movie is not a great movie. His performance is amazing. He plays both brothers, and like you said, one of them looks completely different from the other just by the way like Hardy manages his facial expressions the entire film. It is one of the best performances I've ever seen. I love Legend. It is like one of my favorite movies by him because he carries it so well, and wasn't even nominated for it. It blew my mind. So when you say that about Michael B. Jordan, I completely agree with you, but I hate the double standard that my man Tom Hardy was not nominated for Legend, and that needs to be fixed. Redo the count from that year.
I mean, so I'm reading a little bit about this movie because again, I've never heard of it. So it was a British independent movie.
Yeah.
It had a lot stacked against it in terms of it seems like it wasn't super well reviewed. I mean, it kind of mid reviews, didn't do well box office. I just think it probably, even if he had ever had any kind of shot, it was just kind of hamstrung by the movie. Probably
It bounces around from time to time on Netflix. It comes and goes. It might even be on Netflix now. It is a really good, like, if you're into like mobster movies, like if you like Goodfellas, like you'll like this movie. It's really good. Like it's, well, all right. The performances are really good. The movie's not great. Like it definitely, it's not a bad movie though either. Like it's a solid movie. It's entertaining, but his performance carries it, and it's awesome. Like, and it's a mobster movie told from like the love interest of one of the Cray brothers. That's like basically like in love with and then like married to the lead brother who's kind of like the head of it all. That's the smart one. The other one is like a schizophrenic psycho. Like, so it's like a multiple personality disorder type thing. It's really cool. Like, definitely check it out when you got some time. But going back to best actors, yeah. So the people nominated are Michael B. Jordan for both of his roles, Smoke and Stack in Sinners. Timothée Chalamet as Marty Supreme, which based off just the trailer, looks like he's cooking. I mean, Chalamet looks like he's killing it. Can you really give it to him though after Bob Dylan last year and now this? Like, damn, it's just like, why are we even going for it? You know, you got Leo in one battle after another. Wagner, or I'm assuming because he's foreign, maybe it's Wagner Mora for the Secret Agent. And then you've got our guy, none other than the grabber, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon.
He got nominated for his second best performance of the year, right?
Yeah, yes. Black Phone 2 kicks ass, okay? Black Phone 2's awesome.
Blue Moon's another one I've wanted to watch. I remember hearing about it in the middle of the year, and it kind of fell off my radar completely. But then it seemed like it might be a chance for Ethan Hawke to kind of sneak in and get something. So I'm glad. It's cool to see him nominated. I wonder. I mean, it would be interesting. Like, I think this is the most interesting race, even though like Chalamet's won a few of the awards leading up to it, like the Golden Globe and stuff. But like the Guild Awards haven't come out, so that can obviously kind of color maybe how you would like. Or they will be out by the time we record this, but I just think, you know, you have Chalamet, who's like a rising star. DiCaprio's obviously a winner, a previous winner who's done great. Hawke has he won before? I know he's been nominated before. I can't remember if he's won before.
I think he was nominated for Best Supporting in Training Day, maybe. But I don't think he's ever won anything.
So he's obviously a guy who's been around and is super well respected. Michael B. Jordan, again, kind of in that middle. He's not like really a rising star anymore, but he's like established himself as a clear guy. And then this wild card, you know, Wagner Moura, he probably is like the dark horse, but like, you know, you never know. You get enough people that really love that movie or something, and things can kind of come together real quick. I think it's the most interesting race because I feel like 4 of the 5 guys you could make a really strong case for is like they could come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that Ethan Hawke was nominated for this movie makes me want to go ahead and check out Blue Moon just to see what he did in it.
Well, and also, like, I can do a little search here. I think it might be the only nomination it has, which is also like, okay, no, it's got let's see. It was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay, and that's it. So it could also be one of those situations. I mean, it's just, you just got to get in the mind of like how people kind of approach voting, and like it could be like, well, you know, we want to acknowledge this movie, but we're going to do it via Ethan Hawke. You know, it could be one of those weird situations. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think, because I have a hard time thinking it would win original screenplay, because I think that's, if you had to, I think Sinners, like, I feel like Sinners is like, that's a place where you like, you know, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, it was just an accident. Like, two of the movies there are foreign features. Blue Moon's a small movie, so really it's probably going to be between Marty Supreme and Sinners.
I could see Ethan Hawke winning for Best Actor because it could be like The Revenant in the sense where, like, I love Leo and I love The Revenant, and when I walked out of The Revenant before it was ever nominated, I walked out of it opening weekend and said that is the movie that Leo will win his Oscar for. And a lot of people think it's one of his worst performances, and I think that I would disagree with it. But a lot of people don't like it because he doesn't have much to say in the movie. I mean, it's a lot of facial expressions and pain and struggle, like through just his face and body and what he's going through. I thought it was great, but my point is that like the Academy seems to really love and favor films and performances that surround around like the creation of films or the creation of plays and artists and things like that. And Blue Moon is the story of how Lorenz Hart, you know, opened the play Oklahoma while he's also facing alcoholism and mental health problems. And, you know, Ethan Hawke has a god-awful haircut and looks like he's had some, like, facial work done.
Also, he did some body transformation stuff,
yeah,
too.
A little bit.
Okay, he's winning. Let's just say it. He's winning.
I mean,
let's
he
call
really
our shot.
He really might. It might be the Academy's turn to be like, he was great in this. It's time that he earns one. You know, he hasn't ever gotten one before. We're going to give it to him. You know, that's why I think Hamnet is a real tough nod for Best Picture. Like, they love movies about making movies and plays. Like, they love that shit. They eat it up.
Well, and that's why I also kind of think Sinners isn't that, but I feel like, you know, all the lead up, at least at the time when we're recording, like One Battle After Another is the movie that a lot of people are
it seems to be the one to beat.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you guys something about that movie? I caught myself really enjoying like the first 45 minutes of it, maybe even the first hour, and then for like the next 45 minutes of that, it lost a lot of my interest. Like, I never got to finish the movie. I need to finish it. I kind of started watching it in spurts. No, like but like that doesn't happen to me. That normally does not happen to me. And like, like at the point where they're looking for the teenage daughter, and he's on the phone trying to give the code and doesn't know the time and all of that, and then the whole Benicio del Toro sequence with like the kids upstairs and they're getting them out of the shop. All of that bored the literal fuck out of me.
It bored you? I thought that was the best part of the movie.
Oh yeah, it was so tense, and like the score
it's like,
and that whole section is just that
like
weird
I caught myself checking my phone like every 10 seconds.
Well, if you didn't like that, I don't think you're going to like the rest of the movie.
I don't know. I just like, I really liked the beginning, like the whole like revolution in the bank, like the blowing up the bank and her like fucking around with, you know, Sean Penn, like all of that I enjoyed, but it just, I don't know. Like I need to revisit it, but I didn't know if like, was it slow in the middle for y'all, or was it y'all just?
I thought it was like constantly moving.
I think
that's what I got from it.
Kind of a specific point though, and that the beginning of the movie is bombastic and crazy because they're violent and
right,
you know, starting the revolution through like very insane means to get attention. But Benicio del Toro, who's not related to the French 75, but he's his own kind of like subversive revolution, but he does it like quietly
under the radar
and is more effective.
Right.
You know, like they're clearly like organized, and he like gets the kids out of there, and he's all very calm about it. So I kind of thought that was done intentionally to show you like just the difference, like the contrast between spectrum. You know, Jungle Pussy standing on the bank saying like, my name's Jungle Pussy and this is what black power looks like.
I'm here to fuck you up.
Fuck you up.
There are some wild ass names in that movie. What is Sean Penn's name?
Lockjaw.
Lockjaw, yeah. Okay, Jungle Pussy and Lockjaw. By the way, Lockjaw can just get an erection on his own without doing anything, just by staring at his penis for 20 seconds. Like, what the fuck?
I thought it was kind of interesting that both he and Del Toro were both nominated for Best Supporting Actor, because we had that conversation about Gosford Park and that kind of probably killed the chances for either one of them. And I actually think, from what I've watched, you know, I've seen, this is the category where I've actually seen the most nominees, because I've not seen Frankenstein or Sentimental Value, so I can't speak to Lordy, but I think Del Toro probably should win, but I actually think Delroy Lindo, I'd be happy to see him win. I think that'd be cool. I know Del Toro's won before. I don't think Sean Penn has a chance, even though I actually think that character, I think he's a great performance, but like I have a hard time seeing him winning over Del Toro from that movie. Like
Delroy Lindo should absolutely win it.
Character too.
Yeah. No, Delroy Lindo for like his speech
awesome.
in the backseat of that car. Mm-hmm. That right there should seal the deal. Like when they're showing highlights.
I'm rooting for him, and I'm rooting for Sinners overall, just because I think One Battle After Another would be a really good Best Picture winner, but I think Sinners is the more entertaining movie, and I get what you're saying, Slade, about it not maybe feeling like a Best Picture nominee, but I also think some of that's a product of like just how like. Of recency, like with the last 10, 15 years, because like there's a time where like movies like that got nominated, you know, fairly often. I mean, like Star Wars was nominated for Best Picture, and now like the idea that like a Star Wars would get nominated is crazy. Like this year that we're talking about on the podcast, like Lord of the Rings gets nominated every year up there to a point and finally wins. And probably, I mean, spoiler, probably should have won the first time.
I think it was pretty obvious that because Fellowship got 13 nominations and didn't win any, if I remember correctly. I have to go look that up for my episode. But yeah, it was pretty obvious that they're just saving it all for Return of the King.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I can't, because, all right. Okay, so I'm looking at the Best Actress nominees. And Rose Byrne is nominated for a movie called If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You.
That movie's apparently awesome.
Yeah,
that is an amazing name. I have to see this movie.
I've obtained it. I can get it to you.
If I had legs, I'd kick you.
I have it.
Yes.
I think she's got like a sick child, and
yeah, it's like about motherhood.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, all right. I'm here for it. I saw the name and it caught me off guard.
She might actually be the favorite. I think like she might be.
Oh, I don't know. Emma Stone and Begonia she's gonna be tough.
I think Rose Byrne. I mean, I think she's won. I feel like she won the gold. Did she win the Golden Globe? I try not to pay a whole lot of attention to.
You've got Jessie Buckley as well in Hamnet. Renate Riensve for Sentimental Value. I'm sorry, I just butchered that person's name. I'm sorry, miss. And then Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue. Say that 5 times fast.
And granted, I have not seen this movie yet. I really want to, but everyone was talking about Jennifer Lawrence and Dime I Love last fall, and I'm very shocked that she's not in this list.
Yeah, I think that was a movie. Even like I don't know a lot about it, but it was like I don't think it got any nominations. No Other Choice. Park Sung Woo. And I hope I didn't just fuck his name up.
Oh my god, guys!
That was another big one that I don't think got nominated for anything.
Okay. K-pop Demon Hunters cannot win Best Animated Feature, right?
I'm glad you brought that up because I think that is quietly like one of the weirder, might be the weirdest races of because like it was clearly like the most popular movie. I've not watched it. I've not seen anything on this list. But just I feel like that little Amelie or character of the Rain is something that has a chance, like because it might be like the most. Just from what I've read about it, it seems like maybe the most moving movie.
It's odd to me that like K-pop Demon Hunters obviously like swept the entire country. I mean, my daughter is obsessed with it. Pretty much every kid her age I know is like obsessed with it. And it's got some banger music. Like it really does. It's catchy. Got some good music. None of the music is nominated for Best Original Song, which I found
weird.
Odd.
That's weird.
I found that odd. But also, I Lied to You from Sinners has to win Best Original Song, right?
Oh, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters was nominated.
Is it on my list?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, Golden. Oh, I didn't see it. My fault. Okay, all right, okay.
But
Golden,
no, that would have been weird if they had.
Okay. I slipped over that. I'm sorry.
I think the music in Sinners, it's all like fucking
it's fantastic.
great. Like I love that movie, and I think to me, it's just such a. It is different. It would be a weird, kind of a strange Best Picture winner, but I think that would be awesome. Like it would be cool to see something like that win Best Picture.
And it's not a horror movie, but it definitely has elements of horror, and there's horror is famously overlooked by the Academy Awards every year, but
yeah, this would be our first technically horror movie to win since Hannibal or the Silence of the Lambs. Yeah.
Okay, here's my
Hannibal.
thing about
Hannibal will not be winning any Best Picture.
Hey, no. Here's my thing about Sinners. I love it. I think they did themselves a disservice by telling people that it was going to be a vampire movie. Like you could have done it just like Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did with From Dusk Till Dawn, where the trailer just tells you it's about these brothers dealing with the racial South. It's a drama. And, like, let people go see it and then blow their fucking minds. Like, had you not known it was a vampire movie, I think that element of surprise would have made it even better. A lot of people that I know that didn't like it were like, it took too long to get to the vampires. Like, where's the fucking vampires? And it's like, bro, like, you're missing the whole point. It's all about character development and storylines so that when these people die, it means something. And the choices that they make, especially between, like, Smoke and Stack, and how important those decisions are, like that there's like real weight here, and you're worried about just vampires. Like you missed the whole point of the movie. Sorry.
I think it would have turned a lot of people off, honestly. I always kind of think about like my mom.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes she'll be like, I want to go see this, and she would have just been like appalled. If she'd gone to see Sinners thinking it was this like drama about like racism in the South, and then she'd be like, what are we watching?
It's awesome. I love it. Okay, a couple other things. So, Best Supporting Actresses, you've got Wunmi Mosaku from Sinners as well.
She was good.
She's very good. That is that Stack's wife, girlfriend, love interest, the one that has the baby?
The voodoo lady.
Yes. Okay. All right. Ellie Fanning for Sentimental Value. There's another name, Inga Lilalis.
His daughter.
Yeah. She's from Sentimental Value as well. But the most interesting conversation for me, don't get me wrong, like I love Wunmi in Sinners, but I really love Amy Madigan's performance in Weapons.
I do too, and I would love for her to win. I just don't think they'll do it. Because, again, it's another horror
But she is so good in this movie. Like, the movie hinges on how good she is.
Yeah.
So I think she's great.
And like that's my.
And Tiana Taylor's great too, though. In one
it's
battle.
a good race. Like I think it's probably going to be between those two. I would think. Although I wouldn't rule out Elle Fanning. That could be. She could be a factor there too. But and also like it could be another again. Like it's kind of one of those like with Ethan Hawke. Like I mean he'll probably have other chances, but like we've talked about this on the show with aging. Especially women in Hollywood, like this is probably going to be Amy Madigan's only chance, right? Like she's 75. This is probably it. Like if they're going,
unless they nominate her for the Aunt Gladys movie as best actress when that comes out.
I think this is the
prequel, the Aunt Gladys prequel.
The Aunt Gladys prequel. It might cook. You never know, man.
I mean, Tiana Taylor's our age. In theory, she should have a lot, more chances ahead of her.
But she's a singer. She's not an actress. Like she's in movies, but like that's not her main career. It may eventually be, but
and she would be deserving. Like I would have a hard time sitting here saying like if she wins like that she didn't deserve. Like she's fucking awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Like, so I would be thrilled for her.
Do you guys have any other things y'all want to say about the Oscar noms and Oscar race, or
I don't feel like I have anything worthwhile to add because I've seen so few of these.
I'll say
watch
this:
these
like
movies, people. That would be my only thing I would add. Find a way to watch them because I think it's a good crop of movies. It's an interesting crop of movies. I mean, I think it's really heavy at the top, but then after that, there's a lot of interesting stuff.
See, like in years past, until about probably 5 years ago, I was really big on seeing movies all the time and like to catch them before they were nominated so that I could try to guess and see what I got right and what I think deserved and who got snubbed. And now that I have an 8-year-old child and, work 2 jobs and do a podcast, like it's difficult for me to get to the theater as much as I want. I did, however, go see Primate this week. If you're into horror movies, check it out. Shameless plug. It was pretty awesome. But getting back to what I'm saying though is that I don't have as much time to keep up with all these movies like I used to that I want to. If I had the time, I would do it. But seeing what's nominated and seeing certain actors and actresses that like I recognize and I didn't know anything about this Ethan Hawke movie until I saw he's nominated. And to be honest with you, I think the play Oklahoma is fucking terrible. And I don't really ever want to watch it. But I do want to see this movie just for Ethan Hawke's performance and to see like what went on behind the scenes of the making of Oklahoma. So yeah, like that type of stuff. So there's definitely about 5 or 6 extra movies on here that I want to check out and watch because of their noms. So let us know what you guys think in the comments about who you think should win and your thoughts on best pictures, best actors, and who got snubbed and everything else, Oscar, Golden Globe, whatever. Tell us what you think.
What happened?
There was an accident. A car accident.
Today, we are exploring the blurred lines between reality and intense dream state in the brain of David Lynch. We're going to talk about one of the most critically acclaimed movies of all time, about how everything is not what it seems, especially when it comes to the Hollywood dream of seeking fame and fortune as you fight and claw your way to getting to your star on the Walk of Fame. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Mulholland Drive.
Can I just interject, coming right after the Oscar talk, the fact that Naomi Watts was not nominated for this is a crime.
Yeah. That was part of why when we decided to do this in the schedule, like, because this is part of Oscars month. This movie was criminally, and at least spoilers, I love this fucking movie, criminally underrated or under nominated, I should say.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a lot of people went and saw it. Like they're, it
was underseen, and
it's like Legend.
It's like it was only nominated for 1 Oscar, and that was for Best Director. And it's Naomi Watts, like I don't know how you didn't even nominate her for this movie. Like it's absurd. like she should have won.
Who won Best Actress for this year?
You're gonna be real thrilled when I tell you.
If it's fucking Julianne Moore, I'll hang myself.
It's Jennifer Connelly from A Beautiful Mind.
Yes, that's right.
Which we'll be discussing or have discussed. I think we will discuss it in the schedule. It's in a couple weeks from now.
Yay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. So the other nominees that year were Helen Mirren from Gosford Park, Maggie Smith from... I'm looking at the Best Actress in a Supporting. My God. Sorry. Halle Berry won for Best Lead.
Oh, Monsters Ball.
For Swordfish? Oh, Monsters Ball. Okay.
Yeah, for Swordfish. Yeah.
No, that's right.
That's the role that actually won it for. That's what I'm going to contend. Judi Dench and Iris, Nicole Kidman in Moulin Rouge, Sissy Spacek in The Bedroom, and Renee Zellweger for Bridget Jones's Diary. So those are all good. I mean, I've not seen In the Bedroom yet, or Iris, Judi Dench, but like of the three, I mean, they're good nominees. But like,
how cool would that have been
nominated?
Like, for Naomi Watts and Nicole Kidman to be nominated? That would have been cool, man. Mm-hmm. That Academy, like, y'all fucked up. Like, just go back and fix it. Like
Renee Zellweger's great, like in that movie, but like she would clearly probably be the one like that. Like, why did she get the nomination over Naomi Watts? Like, that's
all right. Like,
because she
now
did
I
a
gotta
convincing English accent. Like,
well, now I gotta ask: do y'all think maybe she wasn't nominated because the Academy was like, well, this wasn't even supposed to be a movie; it was supposed to be a TV show?
I mean,
there's something to that.
Yeah,
I honestly think that's what it was. That's what I think happened.
That's probably it. Like, that's at least part of it. I could see that, especially at that time. Like,
yeah, at that time, exactly.
Like, I don't think even 15 years later that would have been perceived as, or maybe not even 10 years later. But yeah, at that time, that's a good observation.
Slate, I'm looking at your notes and I'm laughing at Lynch had a sign posted on the door of his office that said, "I will never work in television again."
Yeah. Yeah. Mulholland Drive obviously is written and directed by David Lynch. It premiered at the Cannes Film Festival on May 16, 2001, and it was subsequently released in a limited theatrical run in the United States on October 12, 2001. This movie was originally a pilot episode for a TV series for ABC. After Twin Peaks had been canceled, like Allison just said, David Lynch had a sign on his door for the last 10 years that said, "I will never work in television again." Yet, 10 years later, here we are. He's approached by ABC to do another show, and he obliges. His pitch to the producers was: a mysterious woman in the back of a limousine gets in a car wreck on Mulholland Drive. She stumbles her way down the hills into Hollywood. She doesn't remember anything. Producer's like, all right, cool. What next? Lynch says, buy my pitch and I'll tell you.
I love this fucking dude.
Yeah.
I kind of like him too. So, of course, that they buy his pitch. Always leave him wanting more, David. I hear you. So, any Hoosers. He shot the pilot, which ended with the two main characters, Rita and Betty, breaking into an apartment to find the body of a dead woman that they were searching for. After he turned in the pilot, they had multiple back and forths with creative control over different things. Like, one of the things that he argued with ABC about was shooting dog poop. They told him nobody wants to see dog poop, and yet he has dog poop. But that's just Lynch having creative control with ABC. Anyways, to hear him tell the story of it, he was told that the one producer or executive who watched the pilot episode, was watching it at like 7:00 in the morning when he woke up, was standing up in his living room, drinking a cup of coffee, and he saw the pilot episode, and he absolutely hated it. So they canceled it. And ABC was like, sorry, we're just not running with it. We don't like the pilot at all. Do what you want with it. So Lynch decided, fuck it. I'll turn it into a movie. He added 18 pages of script, which somehow 18 pages ended up making an extra hour.
I was going to say that. Jesus. I was like, that's not a lot.
It's very imaginative pages.
Like, I mean, that's what they said. He added 18 pages of the script, and he turned the show into a movie. Lynch ended up partnering with his own production company. He partnered them with Les Films Alain Sardé. Le Film Alain Sardé. I don't.
Le Film.
Les Films. He partnered with them, and the movie was made for a budget of just $15 million. Box office success was not really something that happened for this film. It made roughly $7.2 million in the U.S. I really wonder if that would have changed had we gotten like a worldwide national release. Like, I think that, you know, if you're only limiting it to your big markets like New York, Boston, Chicago, you know, word of mouth kind of travels, but like not, you know, obviously if I can't see it, like I'm not driving to the biggest city next to me, Chicago, is 6 hours to go see this movie. So I wonder if they'd have put a little bit more money into putting it across the country, because of how much critics ended up really enjoying the film and word of mouth got around. That I wonder how it would have done, but it is what it is. So it only did 7.2 million in the U.S. It did another 12.89 million internationally. So essentially, it broke even.
The thing too about I guess why, partly at least why it got a limited release, if I had to guess, is like none of his movies ever did well. Like if you go back and look at all the box office for his stuff, it's a lot of, you know, barely getting above the budget or you know, slightly underperforming. It's kind of pretty consistent across the board. I mean, every movie. And I mean, he didn't have an extensive career. He only made like 9 or 10 movies.
He made 10 movies, and it's so interesting that he's such a legend, given that like he only made 10 movies and none of them did particularly well.
I had only heard of like maybe 3 of his movies, especially if you're not counting like the Twin Peaks movie he made after the show.
Which is arguably the most, like, before this movie, I think a lot of people, like, that would be in the running for, like, it's one of the ones that people would say is maybe his most successful in terms of, you know, not box office. Like, again, it was a failure too, but which is wild because the show was. But I think even the show, do you remember the show?
Boat. No, I didn't watch the
Allison,
show.
I've never watched it either. I know it's something.
I remember.
You would have been around people who maybe were watching it.
Yeah, I remember like.
Wasn't it like very X-Files-esque?
Yeah, it's weird. I can remember it being on the television and remembering not understanding what was going on. But I would have been like, when did it come out?
It was in the 80s, right? Like 82-ish?
1990, 91. So I was like 8, 9 years old.
Well, what's interesting hearing you say that, Allison, is like you didn't know it. Obviously, you had a reason, and the people watching it probably didn't know what was going on either. Because that's, I think, a fairly common theme in some of his work. But I think it's that show even like, I mean, it got canceled like after season 2. So again, it was like even like a quote unquote failure probably at the time. And I think just so much of his career is about just rediscovery and people, like, I think pretty much most of his stuff is beloved now in various circles, and but it was not at the time, at least not by a wide.
I was gonna say, do you think he's like I get him mixed up. I'm not sure. It was either Picasso or Van Gogh, who like wasn't worth a dime when he was alive, and then like as soon as he died, his paintings just went apeshit. Like in a sense that like,
I think that's Van Gogh.
Okay. Well, my point is that like when he was still making paintings and everything, it didn't change like the beauty of the paintings or the complexity or just what they are, right? And people just didn't really recognize his talent or notice it until he had passed. And it feels like maybe a lot of that is how we feel about Lynch, in the sense that when the movies are released, they always seem to not do well, I guess, in theaters, but then like years down the road, everybody talks about how great they are.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations. I mean, he was probably, I'm not going to say he was ahead of his time, but I guess that's a way you could characterize it, and just a lot of the stuff he was interested in doing. I mean, again, I've not seen Twin Peaks, so I'm not qualified to say this, but I get the impression that it was very influential on a lot of TV that came after it.
There's also, I've watched a couple of shows that have episodes that are just straight up like homages to Twin Peaks. Supernatural is one of them, and the show Psych, which I actually really, really liked, did like a whole homage to Twin Peaks. I can't remember, like even the towns are named something kind of similar, and they have similar characters. So it's interesting to see the influence that way.
Okay. So getting back to Mulholland Drive, while people weren't turning out in droves to see this movie, the critics seemed to really love it. It did win Best Director at the Cannes Film Festival and was nominated for the same category at the Oscars that year. Our guy, Roger Ebert, he gave it 4 stars out of 5, and he wrote, "This is a movie to surrender yourself to. If you require logic, see something else. Mulholland Drive works directly on emotions like music. Individual scenes play well by themselves as they do in dreams, but they don't connect in a way that makes sense. Again, like dreams. The way you know the movie is over is that it ends, and then you tell a friend, I just saw the weirdest movie last night, just like you would tell them, I had the weirdest dream."
I think that's a good encapsulation of it.
I agree. I think he sums it up great. But he seemed to really like it, even though, like, to him it's somewhat incoherent. He still enjoyed it. So,
well, and especially because it was interesting. I was reading some about him, and like, he was not a fan of Lynch, really. Like, you look back at some of his other reviews, like there were didn't seem to really like Blue Velvet at all, and that's another one that like people kind of point to as like very formative in what they think of him. And
if you dive deeper into Ebert's review of this movie, he basically goes as far as to say that like this film is where he fixes all his shortcomings in his other movies, like the problems that he has in Blue Velvet and other films that Ebert didn't like are pretty much like addressed and fixed in this movie for him. Like it's like Lynch at his peak finest as a director. It is funny though. While we're on the subject, I do want to. So Josh, if you recall, you and I went and saw a movie that a lot like this movie is. Okay, so one of the strengths of this movie is after you watch it the first time, you're kind of left like, what the fuck just happened, right? And you like the more you watch this movie, the more you're able to put the pieces together and develop like your own theory. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of theories and Easter eggs in this movie that can all be interpreted different ways, and all of them kind of make sense. Like, he leaves this movie up for you to interpret. We saw a movie somewhat like that back when we were still like not in college, but around. We were still living in Lexington together. Do you remember when we went and saw Jordan Peele's Us?
Yes.
Okay.
I like Us a lot.
I like Us too.
Do you remember my reaction to you liking Us?
Yeah, you thought I was fucking insane.
Yes, I did. And I still do. Okay. This is my point. All right. What I like about this movie is my biggest gripe with Us is that in that movie, Jordan Peele makes these rules and makes this universe and then completely like rips the rules up, changes it, the logic doesn't make sense, and then he says, well, it's art, it's open for your interpretation, and it feels fucking lazy. But everything that he did wrong with it, Lynch did right in this movie, and it makes sense to me. Like, the interpretation is there, and like he's not writing these rules and breaking the rules. Maybe he's able to do that because it's a dream sequence, but like it drives me nuts as how many flaws are in Us. And I felt like this movie is somewhat of like an inspiration for what Jordan Peele was going for. And Jordan Peele is very big on like interpretation and a lot of allegories and things like that in his films. But like, it feels like sometimes he passes it off as art just so people can create their own view of it. And he's really like pigeonholed himself in and out of it and hoping you can just create your own view of it without him helping you. And like, Lynch doesn't need to help you, but the pieces are there to make sense without like breaking the rules that Lynch has already established. Does that make sense?
Well, I will agree that Us is flawed and
extremely.
There are issues with it, but it is a movie that I watched it in the theater, and I was pissed off because there was a bunch of teenagers.
The worst.
Grandpa Simpson yelling at clouds right now. But when Lupita starts talking in that croaky voice, because she, has forgotten how to speak, and like the teenagers just laughing the whole time. But like, it's a movie that when we left, I was like, okay, that was kind of weird. I don't know what I thought about it. But the more I thought about it, and the more like connections, it just made me think. It's a movie that I just was like thinking about for, days and weeks after the fact about the
more I thought
themes and
about
allegories.
The more I thought about it, the more irritated I got.
That was me after I watched Prometheus.
Fair. Okay. Fair. All right. Go ahead.
I do think Lynch gets away with a lot of it if you agree that the most common interpretation of this movie is that like the first 2/3 of it are a dream. But I've also seen theories that don't think it's a dream. That, that may show she's having a psychotic break or, actually everything is actually real. And
I can see where you would say it's a psychotic break, but I think he's pretty heavy-handed and letting you know it's a dream by like laying you down in the pillow at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So,
well, also kind of like after I watched it the second time, I came around more to the idea of like, well, maybe the whole first part is like she's in purgatory, like she killed herself at the end of the movie, and
now she's stuck here.
Yeah.
And like she's like reliving like her dream state, but then falling into like, kind of remembering all the bad events and maybe like, I think you could there's a world where you could interpret this in a sense where like the real thing that's happening is all the good stuff and like you're spiraling into a depressive episode or something, and like all the bad stuff is like kind of where you're going. Like I think it's constructed in a way where I think it really gives you a lot of room to explore it, and I think that's challenging for a lot of people though. I will say I do think this isn't a movie. There's a time I would have watched this and would have been like, what the, like I don't think I would have hated it, but I would have been like, I don't understand anything. Like I do think you have to like have a really open mind about what movies are when you watch something like this, and I mean to a lesser extent feel that way about Us. I think it's a little bit more straightforward, but I think with Mulholland Drive and from the impression I get from a lot of his movies, you really have to just let yourself kind of go into it and feel it. And the way that I interpret some of how this critical, because this movie is like critically, like it's like it went from like being this movie that no one barely knew exists to like a top, like in all these lists, like it's like a top 10 movie all time in a lot of these critics lists. On
the Ringer's Best Picture podcast, I believe they listed it as like number 6 out of like top 25 movies of the 21st century.
I hadn't remembered that, but I remember Naomi Watts' performance in this movie was their number one performance of like any actor in the 21st century, and
she's so fucking good.
She's fucking awesome in this movie. So it's like, and it was numbered in the now this happened like as some of this was happening. David Lynch had just died fairly recently last year when the New York Times was doing their best of the 21st century. That included the year 2000, so we won't completely call that valid on this podcast. But the Mulholland Drive was number 2 in the critic like New York Times list and in the reader poll, and it was Parasite was the only thing it was behind in both of those lists. And so yeah, maybe some recency there with Lynch, like kind of reclaiming him and loving and appreciating him in the wake of his death, but also like 3 years before that, it's the Sight and Sound list gets updated, and it moved from tied for 22nd on that list to up to number 8 all time. Like this is of all movies, not just the 21st century, of all movies.
It's crazy.
But I'm saying all this to kind of get to a point where I think so much, at least for me, like why something like this gets that kind of reevaluation. I start looking at things more as we've been doing this. Like a good movie can be a lot of things, but increasingly I start looking at things through the lens of like, could this exist as something else and it work? And I think if it'd been a TV show, it may be, but I also think it would have been a completely different experience as a TV show. I think as a book, I don't see how this could be a fucking book. And
really,
like
I could definitely see it as a book.
mean, and have the same impact, I guess, is more what I'm getting at. Like, I feel like
fair.
a movie was the best way to tell this story, and because I think staying with it longer than you're with it, it probably starts to kind of lose steam. I just think how it's kind of packaged, like, this could not exist as anything else as a movie and be as powerful as it is. And I think that, for me, that's part of, like, wow, like, okay, like, this is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. One of the movies that's actually listed on that Sights and Sounds list that's above it really inspires this movie too, and that is Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. So that would be a fun, like, double feature, if you would. It would be really cool. That or Sunset Boulevard in this movie. Both of those, I think, would be fun, like, non-Lynch movies to tie together. But getting back to what we're talking about, critics, Rotten Tomatoes, 84% critic score, 87% popcorn meter on the audience score. If you go to the Metascore on IMDb, it's an 87. And lastly, with almost 80,000 reviews on Letterboxd, Mulholland Drive currently sits at a 4.3 out of 5. So not very many people are going to dislike this movie if you see it. And
I
it
find
is one of
that
those things
very
you have to
interesting
watch.
because if I just, like, think about the people I interact with, like family, friends, and showed them this movie, I'm going to say 90% of them would be like, the fuck is this?
Same.
You know, so I'm like, the people voting in that are people who've, well, one, we established that very few people actually saw this movie, right? So, but those who did were art house indie people and loved it, and they're the ones voting in these polls, I have to believe.
Here's what I hope, because a lot of times I feel like, especially with these episodes, people are clicking on the movies that we do that they've seen, right? And that's what they're coming here for, is for the nostalgia. I hope that they enjoy our conversations enough in some of these other podcasts that if they haven't seen this movie, they check it out anyways, just to listen to this podcast. And I hope that this podcast will let them be like, all right, cool. Like, I might want to watch this, right? So, but we'll see. But all right, guys, in true David Lynch fashion, I want to talk about this movie, but I want to talk about it in a different structure than we do with previous films, right? I know we usually kind of discuss going through, like, plot points and all of that, but I think this film is a lot less about the story and more about the performances. I think that what the actors are giving us, I think that while we talk about each character and the performances that's coming across the screen, we'll naturally be able to hit our talking points about the plot that are important to this film. And obviously, if we miss something, we can get back to it. But I think that if we just kind of go into our reactions talking about, I'll start with, what do we think about this movie? Who stood out? And we'll start with Naomi Watts, right? And then kind of work our way down. So, Allison, Josh, whoever wants to go first, what did you think about this movie? What did you like, didn't like, what stood out? And let's start with Naomi Watts.
This movie is all vibes. It's just not to go into Naomi Watts yet, but just the feeling that he evokes with, like, the imagery and the score, and there's just this sense of unease the entire time. And I've read people being like, oh, I found it so scary, and it's mainly because, the monster or whatever comes out behind the dumpster, and there's a jump scare. But I was like, it's unsettling to watch, I think, the entire time. And then especially when you get to the end and you realize, like, oh, this has all been in her head, and, like, she's hired a man to actually kill her lover, and now she's kind of, like, having a breakdown over it. But
when I was watching this movie, I, like, halfway through it, and then, like, I thought to myself, is there a single scene in this entire film that doesn't have tracking music to it? Like, every scene has music behind it.
I don't think so, because it just feels like it's there the whole time. It's really subtle, but it's almost like like when you hear like bass, really loud bass, and you can just kind of like, it kind of hums in your body and it's uncomfortable. That's kind of how I felt like watching this movie. I was like, I feel like it's inside me, and it's just like creating this sense of unease.
It's so much dread, like the whole, even though it's like, and it's about this pursuit of something happy and like dreams and chasing your dreams, and it's just so. You brought up the woman, or I guess it's a man in the movie played by a woman.
Can I tell you all who that is?
I know that it's
Valak.
Yeah,
from The Nun.
Yeah,
that lady that plays the nun is the her cast character in the script is just Bum. It's supposed to be a man, but it is the lady that plays the nun. How awesome is that?
Like
I love
that scene, and you know the whole time something's happening at the end of that scene. Like the way the music plays, what they're talking about it, like they tell you what's getting ready to happen. Like they talk about it in the fucking diner. They walk outside to go see if it's going to happen. And like the whole first time I was watching that, like I think that was like some of the most anxiety I've ever felt watching a movie and knowing it was getting ready to happen and still like jump. Like I thought that was the moment where I was, and that's probably 15, 20 minutes into the movie, something like that. And it's like, okay, like I knew before, like I was that short into the movie and like, this is fucking like amazing. Like I was like sold.
Yeah. I watched I don't remember what it was, but it was like a documentary that like counted down like the best like 50 scares in like the history of cinema, like just different jump scares, horror movie scares, pop-ups, like surprises, whatever. And that was like, I want to say ranked like 5th. And it's like Mulholland Drive is not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie.
This is like one of the greatest scares ever. And I mean, it is very masterful how he did it.
And it felt like a dream. Like I think that's like the biggest thing. Like when we're talking about like, is this a dream or whatever? Like I don't even know if it like that even matters. But like that's like the kind of shit that happens in a dream. Like you would just.
That's right when you wake up. Like when he faints is when you wake up. Like, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's start with Naomi Watts and her performance as Betty and Diane. Fun fact about her: David Lynch saw a picture of her and he met with her 3 times. And during the 3rd meeting, he said to himself, "This is the girl."
She then wrote into the 18 pages of a screenplay.
Right. Now, he couldn't have been more correct about her because she is the living embodiment of Diane, right? At this time, she is best friends with Nicole Kidman. Like, I believe Naomi Watts was like born in England and moved to Australia. And her and Nicole Kidman like grow up together. They're like best friends and they both come to Hollywood. And Nicole Kidman, like her career is taking off. This is the year that she's in Moulin Rouge. She's doing films with Stanley Kubrick and Eyes Wide Shut. She's married to Tom Cruise. Like she is a fucking star, right? And Naomi Watts is like auditioning for everything and getting nothing. She's being told that she's like in her mid to late 20s and she's too old now to be a leading woman. And her agent even tells her, look, you're not getting these roles because you reek of desperation. Like these no, she's like going into these like auditions so like desperate for this like role that she's like scaring people. Like they want nothing to do with her because she's like too, I gotta have this. Like just like wants it too bad, right? And so all of that's going on, Lynch picks her for this show, and then the show gets canceled. She's devastated. Like, devastated. Like, she thought she finally had her break. Devastated. And then Lynch is like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm going to write 18 extra scripts, or write 18 extra pages. We're going to throw some nudity in this movie, and let's get down to it. But she gives one of the best performances I've ever seen. Ever in the history of film, cinema, whatever you want to call it. Like, obviously, like, what do you guys think about her? I don't think there's anything you can say that's
fucking perfect. It's like that she wasn't even nominated says so much about what the Academy was at that time and it's just absurd. It's just
in like the first. During, if you want to call it the dream sequence, when we believe that she's just dreaming, One of the critics I read described her as grotesquely cheerful, which I would agree with, because it's almost sickening. And she's the way she's styled, and she's just so innocent and helpful.
That girl next door, like naive.
And I remember I watched this for my film criticism class, which would have been 2002, actually. But when I started watching it, I was just like, oh, God, like, I found it painful to watch initially because I was like, I think she's annoying because she's just so perfect, which made it all the better when you realized that, you know, when she wakes up and you're like, oh, she is a hot mess. She looks different. She sounds different. She carries herself differently. And even there's like one version of her is a hot mess, and then there's a
different one,
and then a different one. A couple of scenes where I was like,
yeah.
She looks like she's been taking meth in this. She
looks like a different person.
Yes, and her teeth.
I was like, is this the same actress? No lie.
That's
yeah,
wild.
I was like, is this a different actress playing the same? I was so confused. And to your point, Allison, if you pay attention to it like hard enough at the beginning, like I was overanalyzing it once I realized what was going on the second time around. The beginning, when she gets to like her aunt's apartment and she's staying there, it is straight cookie cutter, like television, like Leave It to Beaver speak. Like
the way it's written, yeah,
yeah, and it makes you feel like this is shitty acting. And then when you watch it again and you know what's going on, you're like, oh, it's like that because she's dreaming it and everything's like perfect. And like it's Leave It to Beaver in her mind, like, you know, so like that just adds that little extra element to it. But like, and then when she gets to the audition, that is the most that blew my socks off, bro.
I was so uncomfortable because
that guy's a creep.
That guy's a fucking creep.
He's a creep. But she, I mean,
he was Colonel Lockjaw before Lockjaw.
Yo, she had him eating out of the palm of her hand, right? Like
that's the best scene in the movie. Like it's probably like
it's one of the best scenes I've ever seen. Like if you go to like acting class, like if I was teaching theater right now, I would show her rehearsing her lines with Camilla in the apartment and like how it's read and be like, this is what 98% of actors and actresses would interpret this entire script as right here. How would you do it? And have them do it the same way. Then I would say, Exhibit A, watch this. It's the same script and look how she does it. Completely different. Like, that was so incredible. Like, incredible. That scene right there absolutely should have won her the Oscar alone. Like, just that.
Yep.
So that was just great. Okay. After this movie, did you all know what Naomi Watts' next movie that she's the lead in?
Sure don't.
The Ring.
That's right. I was like, how?
Yeah.
I remember
heard of it.
She hit it big right after this.
Yep. She leaves Mulholland Drive and then becomes the face of, well, not the face. That would be Samara or whatever. But she becomes the lead character in The Ring. So now we're going to get into Laura Harring as Rita and Camilla. And I think she is really interesting. So Laura Harring was actually a former Miss USA. She's representing Texas. She was born in Mexico and moved to Texas as a child. She's the first ever Hispanic woman to win the Miss USA title. If that's not cool enough, when she was 16, she grew up traveling abroad. At 16, she basically forced her parents to let her go study in Switzerland. And so she went to boarding school in Switzerland. She speaks English, Spanish, and French. So,
Damn.
like,
Talented.
just an interesting life, right? And like to go from like Miss USA to being like in this movie, and then like doing nudity scenes, like that's probably something that like they wouldn't have really wanted at that time for Miss USA, right? So what did you think of Laura Harring as Rita and Camilla?
I was it was interesting because obviously you recognize Naomi Watts, like just even though she wasn't big at the time, like this was made, like you know her, I know her from stuff from since this. like I could like my immediate thing was like, I've never seen this woman before in my life, but she's great. I mean, like she's phenomenal in this movie, and I'm like, how is this? I mean, looking even at her,
she's not in a whole lot of stuff on her IMDb.
Yeah, she's like in movies, but it's a lot of stuff I've either never heard of, or like it's like I wonder like what. Why didn't this work for her? You're like, why did she end up doing? Because it seems like she's so. I mean, she's playing a certain type of character in this movie, so I guess I could see like
a seductive tinge.
I mean, she also gets to play two different characters.
Yeah,
you know, because she's innocent and confused, and then you see the whole like when she and Diane were dating. They break up because Camilla's decided to date this director, basically to get ahead in Hollywood, is what we're kind of, I guess, led to believe. And like the fact that she brings her to the party and like holds her hand and walks up there, and then just like, it's so cruel when they're like, "Oh,
why does she do that to her?"
Like, right, that's what I was like. Why is she doing this to her? Like announcing their engagement and everyone's making a big deal about like she's the star, and clearly, Diane didn't get the parts, and she's just been scraping by on Camilla's coattails.
Well, that's part of why I still think like a lot of that's still a dream. That's why it makes me wonder like if the whole thing's not like this whole thing isn't just she's just in the afterlife stuck in this sequence of things, because like just you're sneaking up a hill to go to this house when you could have just driven up. Like that's the kind of thing that happens in a dream, where you just sneak up the hill and then you're being led to believe something good's getting ready to happen, and then your mortal enemy at the time is marrying your lover. Like it's just such a strange series. Like it's unreal. Like it's surreal. That's the word I'm looking for. And
it does give her the best motivation to hire a hitman.
Yeah,
because she's so upset by it, but.
And it's like, is that how she's remembering it? Is that how she's dreaming it? Like it's just so like there's so much in this movie. Like
that's also true. You could kind of consider her an unreliable narrator, and maybe this didn't really happen the way that we see it happen, but that's how she remembers it in her mind.
It's odd because I think she gives a really good performance in this film as well. And I think she's a really interesting, like, just life. She kind of becomes like a cameo actress in the sense that like she does a lot of like one-shot TV series where she's just like in one episode of Law and Order or whatever, you know what I mean? She's in 5 episodes of the show and 8 episodes of that show. Like just kind of like temporary episodes, for TV shows. She does go on to make John Q, which is one of my favorite Denzel movies. She plays the wife of Denzel's character's best friend in the movie, so she's kind of a small role there. Then she goes on to make Derailed, a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. She's like the love interest in that. And then after that, she follows that up with Crispin Glover, and she's the love interest of Willard, the rat-loving psycho. So interesting choice there. But getting back to her character, many of you may be wondering, so when she gets in the wreck at the beginning and she stumbles down from Mulholland Drive all the way to Sunset Boulevard, well, how far does she walk? I'll have you know, I Google mapped it, and I did a straight line to figure this out. So originally she's, in the car crash on a windy curve on Mulholland Drive. I took the closest windy curve I could find from Mulholland Drive. It made a straight line to Franklin Avenue. And so she's walking 3.2 miles downhill.
In heels.
To Franklin Avenue.
Piece of cake.
With a head wound.
Yeah. And then from Franklin Avenue to Sunset Boulevard is another half mile if you're just going from the closest corner to the closest corner of each street. So roughly about a 4-mile walk, which would make sense. And it does become daytime by the time she finishes her walk.
If she'd been driving, she'd still be going there. It's still traffic so bad.
Yeah. Anything else you guys got to say about her or her performance? Or
I think it's interesting that she had the career that she it seems like she had after this, because like she's also like, and given what her background, because I think she's excellent in this movie, but she is like, it's also, she's model. She's like getting plugged. She's like the hot girl in the movie, like getting hired to like basically just be hot. I mean, that's the impression I get.
Kind of styled like a femme fatale a little bit, just like with the kind of dark hair and makeup and like red lips, and
she is very stunning at certain points in this movie. Like, she's naturally beautiful, but there are certain times in this movie where she is drop dead gorgeous and looks almost like a different woman too. Like it's weird. Moving on, we're gonna go to Justin Theroux. Yes. Everyone's favorite Jennifer Aniston dating evil Mugatu DJ.
That's what I remembered in the Zoolander episode. We were talking about him,
Yep.
And you were like, "Oh, he was in Mulholland Drive," and I was like, "Why? I don't remember that at all." It's so funny. I could not remember his character at all from seeing it 25 years ago. I remember Naomi Watts and Laura Harring, and that's about it.
Yeah. Although he's pretty important and might be the most interesting character in this movie, in my opinion. Like, so yeah, he plays Adam, the director of the film that Diane thinks she should have gotten the main part for, that ultimately went to Camilla. Shocking enough, his wife is cheating on him with none other than Billy Ray fucking Cyrus.
Hell yeah.
That is the most 2001 thing about this movie.
When he showed up, I was like, I gasped. I was like, Stephanie was watching. I was rewatching it, and one of the times ahead of this recording, and I started and watching it, and I was like, she was wanting to go to bed because she was kind of like half watching. I was like, you gotta stick around. You gotta wait. You gotta watch this.
Josh, go ahead and insert that clip of it's best to just close the door and forget this happened.
Just forget you ever saw it. It's better that way.
He's like, that's no way to treat your wife, buddy. I don't care what she did.
Like, I literally have in my notes when I was like watching this movie is ... Holy shit, it's Billy Ray Cyrus. Like, that is the most random thing ever. Like, if you told me Billy Ray Cyrus is in a movie that is well renowned as one of the greatest movies of all time, I would tell you you're out of your mind.
It's like George Clooney, Eat Your Heart Out. Like, Billy Ray Cyrus is the Kentuckian in terms of like well received movies. Like, you couldn't clog Billy Ray.
I got the pull and she got the pull, man.
You know what I kind of love about, again, if this is Diane's dream, Adam has overlooked her and given this part to Camilla. So in her dreams, she's punishing him by basically like.
Oh, that's how you look at it.
That's how I look at it. Like because he loses his movie, and she's constructed this like the mob or whatever is involved in forcing him to pick another part. But then like he loses his wife, and embarrassingly enough, to Billy Ray Cyrus. But like that's kind of how I interpreted it. Like, she thinks so little of him that he doesn't have Camilla in her dream, and he loses his wife to a guy with a mullet.
Okay, I have to tell you how I interpret it as is she looks at it as, this man can't even please his wife, and the sex that I have with Camilla is amazing. There's no way he can please her the way that I do. That's the way I saw it. But that is interesting from your perspective that she's punishing him. I can totally see that too. Josh, what do you think?
No, I think those are both interesting. I hadn't honestly given it a whole lot of thought because I was just still like, it was so hard for me to get past the fact that fucking Billy Ray Cyrus is in this fucking movie. And it's just for that one scene. Like, he's barely, like, he's in and out, literally.
He's in two scenes. When the big mob guy comes in, is this Adam Kesha's house? Yeah. Didn't you hear the lady? It's time to leave, buddy. Yeah. There's the door. Oh man, she's a fucking psycho, by the way. That wife. Like, there's an 8-foot man walking in your house, and you just decide you're gonna jump on
his back. I love too in the like his reaction after
he's gone and he's never coming back.
He catches her cheating and just starts pouring paint in all her jewelry. It's There's so many things like that are like trying to tell you like this is fucking absurd before you actually get to the point where you start really being told that it's a dream of some sort. But it's like, but the whole time, like, because the whole way everything's constructed, first time I was watching, it's like, well, shit, maybe this is just happening. Like, this is a fucking, because I didn't know anything about this movie. Maybe he is going up to the top
of the hill to meet with the cowboy. It makes perfect sense. I don't know.
Because all I knew was like, okay, Lynch is weird, like. It's just stuff that happens.
I mean, Lynchian has become a term, right? That people use to describe stuff that's very surreal.
Yeah. Are we even sure that Adam is a good director?
He probably isn't.
I was like, I'm getting the vibe that he's not.
But do you think that's her perception?
But, yes, I
think he's not a good director.
That might be her perception.
Yeah, because I think that I think she kind of pairs him in with the director for her audition, where like clearly everybody in the room is like, oh, she just blew the doors off of this and deserves it, and he's like, yeah, we might reach back out, and everybody else is looking at him like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, there's nobody else that's gonna do that. And like she's like, oh, he wouldn't know talent if it sat on his face, like. So.
And then you cut to a sort of Betty lookalike, who's auditioning with a pretty lackluster.
Which, if you didn't know, is the waitress from the diner when she's awake, which is a really cool nod. I do think that there's a lot of really cool moments in this movie where it's her, her body and her dream telling her to wake up that it is her dream. Like when they're calling Diane, and she's like, it's got to be weird calling yourself. And, obviously, there's that. And then you have the Winkies diner scene where the guy's sitting down at the diner talking about being in a dream. And it's like, hey, you're in a dream. I don't know. There's just multiple nods to it.
The waitress really cool. that serves her. She's wearing a name tag that says Diane.
Yeah.
And then they go back to it, and it's the reverse. Like they have one that says Betty later.
Yep. And then that waitress plays Camilla when Camilla in the dream gets the role for the singing part. It's
that
just
song
crazy.
That's a real song. I looked that up. So it's from the 60s. Not Every Little Star.
Yep.
It's they played the whole song in the movie basically. It's only like a 12-second song. And the more I've listened to that a lot since the movie, just kind of feeling like the vibes of the movie, and there's times I listen to it, it's like haunting, and it's like this was like a pop song, like this was like a huge hit, like in the time that it was made, and it's also like so interesting to hear something like that and be that affected by it, or at least for me, and never had heard of it. Like I'd never heard this song before this movie, and it's like this was like a culturally in its time like a huge song, and it probably only is remembered by a lot of people now because of its association with this movie. And it just makes me think how interesting it is, like just music, like how what is like huge now that like no one's going to be talking about, unless it's in a movie 40 years from now, 60 years from now. Like it's so fascinating that can even exist, like something can exist like that.
The probably weirdest, wildest, crazy, like just out of left field scene is when Adam sits down with his like agent or lawyer, and they're like talking about the suggestions, and then the Italian guys come in and he's like, he tries this espresso and he's like, napkin. He's like, what? And he's like so offended that he forgot the napkin. And this guy's like sweating in this man's espresso. He's so nervous. And
this is the finest espresso in the country, or whatever.
Yeah, and he
says.
It's so gross how he spits it out. It is appalling how he spits out this espresso. He's like, oh, like tongue, everything else on this napkin, and he's like, what the hell? That's like the finest espresso. And then he just screams, help me! Like, what is going on here? It is like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. You've got this is the girl. It's so good.
I like to interpret that as if, Betty is perfect for this part, but they're overlooking her. Like, they don't appreciate how good she is. He doesn't appreciate how good this espresso is, and so he's spitting it out.
Oh, okay. All right. See, the espresso thing threw me for a loop, and now I totally see what you're saying.
Yeah,
there.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
literally, you could probably say anything about this movie and find a way to make it make sense. But that was
so
the connection
true.
that my brain made.
But then, like, I don't even know the character's name, but the weird big-headed dwarf guy behind the glass wall that's like making all the shots, and he's
like the king of Hollywood or whatever.
It's so
just kind
weird, right? Like
pulling
it's just
the strings.
So weird.
It's like, yeah, so because it's interesting because like she's imagining, I guess, that the mob is like running the show of the movies, which I guess in times has been something that actually was happening. So it's like he's just pulling, like Lynch is pulling in all this stuff, like just from the history of movies and the history of Hollywood, and it's also just weirdly weaved into this just really tame story. Really, it's not like it's just someone wanting to make it big. Like it's a very common thing. It's
part of it feels like it's okay. So it's very Aronofsky of him, and I hate Darren Aronofsky, honestly. But if you go back to like Darren Aronofsky's film that's an absolute shit show, Mother, the whole movie is an allegory basically for like, I'm creating this art and you people take my art and do what you want with it and you destroy it and manipulate it into what you want it to be versus what I want it to be. And you have no idea how hard it is to create, right? And what I mean by that is, in this movie, it feels like as a director, he's kind of voicing some of those frustrations, like, production companies have too much say-so in what I want to do with my film. And, like, they're not letting me make these decisions. And he even said, like, Dune had way too many, like, hands in the pot. And, like, I had no control over Dune. And I absolutely fucking hated my experience on Dune because of, like, all the other suggestions that they made me do that I didn't want to do.
And that was his first thing after Eraserhead, right?
I believe so. Because
I know that was a big thing at the time. Dune was supposed to be like a real big deal the first time they adapted it, and it just completely...
I would love to see what he did with Dune today. Like, don't get me wrong, the Villeneuve movies or whatever are solid, and I understand why people love them. But, like, I kind of would like to see what he did with it. Like, in today's time. I don't know if I'll go back and
with a little more, like, modern technology and...
Yeah, even give him Chalamet. He would get some crazy shit out of Chalamet. Like, so, and then even, like, when Adam meets the cowboy in the corral, it's to me, it's literally David Lynch saying, I feel like I've been corralled into, like, a hole here that I have to do something that I don't want to do. Like, it was just, you know.
He's
and
the
cowboy has,
right? Like
he's a cow being led up for slaughter.
Yeah, and the cowboy has no eyebrows.
Wait, what?
Watch the movie again. The cowboy has no eyebrows.
Oh, God, I'm going to have to go back.
That's why he looks so weird. That is why he looks so weird. The
Fun
cowboy
fact,
has no eyebrows.
they also did that to Brad Dourif in The Two Towers to make him look more creepy.
Don't do that to Chucky.
As Grebo Wormtongue.
Brad Dourif kind of looks weird enough as is. I love Brad Dourif, but oh, one other thing I failed to mention. When we get to Betty's audition and she rolls up in that taxi at the beginning, this movie pays multiple homages to Sunset Boulevard, but when she gets out of the cab and she looks at the Paramount lot, it is a direct, like, recreation of Sunset Boulevard. Like, the car and everything is in the exact same place as the main character for Sunset Boulevard's car is parked in that movie. And I thought that was really cool, too.
You skipped over the hitman.
I was just getting ready to say, we've got to talk about the most incapable hitman I've ever seen in my life. Like, he is worse than Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction, and that guy drives around town with accidentally shooting somebody in the back seat with blood all over the car, blows his freaking head off, and just drives around town with brains on the window. This guy's an idiot.
He's played by Mark Pellegrino, he's a character actor. He appears in so many things. I mean, he pops up in, like, TV shows and movies. He always just kind of has, like, a bit part or... but I'd forgotten he was in this movie, too. And I'm like, That's pretty cool that he got to be in a David Lynch movie.
Lucifer in Supernatural.
Yep, he's Lucifer in Supernatural.
Part of me thinks that like he's so bad at this job because I think it's Betty's way of like hoping like maybe he just sucks so bad he didn't kill her.
But like again, is this her dream that like?
I think it's her dream.
Someone sent whoever is after Camilla.
It's her dream because
the hitman is so incompetent that like they didn't follow through.
It's her dream because he kills the guy for a black book that has all the phone numbers in the entire world.
I love that they're just having this conversation and then like I don't know where he just lifts the gun and just shoots him really quick.
Shoots him
and then shoots through the wall.
Something bit me.
It got me bad or something.
Something bit me bad.
Them wrestling around on the floor was killing me.
And then Willem Dafoe just shows up vacuuming.
And he's like, she needs help. She needs help, man. Call 911.
I can't do this by myself. He brings that guy in, shoots him too. And then for some dumb reason is like, well, I guess I'll shoot the vacuum cleaner. Oh shit, I just started a fire. What? Like, what? It was so dumb. Like, so dumb. And then, of course, you've got the blue key, which, she asks when it opens, and he just kind of laughs and never tells her. That's his calling card. And then it opens the blue box later, is there anything in the box? I don't remember. To me, it's Pandora's box. Like, it's symbolizing that, once you've opened this box, it can't be closed. Like, you've gone down this road, you've chosen to kill your girlfriend because she's not your girlfriend anymore. She's taking all the roles that you have, and like once this is done, it's done. And I
actually had misremembered this because I was thinking that the old couple came out of the box, in my memory from 25 years ago. So whenever she like puts the key in, and then it just kind of like pops open and fades to black, I was like, wait, wasn't there an old couple that like a freaky old couple that shows up and scares her? And
that's a jitterbug couple.
But they're at the very, very end.
It's a jitterbug couple, which a lot of people they talk about this a little bit on the Unspooled podcast when they're covering this movie, which it's really fun. David Lynch's favorite film of all time is Wizard of Oz, so there's a lot of homage to Wizard of Oz as well in a lot of his movies, and in this one, Naomi Watts' character, she comes to Hollywood because she won this jitterbug dance contest.
I love that that's the thing that led her to Hollywood, as if that's going to really get you very far.
That translates to acting.
Yeah.
And the old couple are, I guess, the judges from the jitterbug contest, which when they get in that's got to be a dream too, right? When she gets off the plane and the cab's just there and they, all that, they get in the cab and they are the creepiest old couple I've ever seen. So she's got the weird ass smile and she's just patting him on the leg like all psychotic. But yeah, so the jitterbug sequence of it, a lot of people don't know that the Wizard of Oz originally had a jitterbug scene where it was people dressed up in jitterbug like outfits, like they were wearing jitterbug costumes, doing the jitterbug dance, and they scrapped it from the movie completely because they felt like it would like timestamp the movie and basically keep the movie stuck in its time frame, like instead of being something that could be enjoyed 50 years later and would just take you out of the film. So they scrapped it, and he decides the jitterbug is what wins her this contest to get to become an actress. So that was interesting too. Little bit of that.
I think it's you talked about, like seeing this movie multiple times really helps kind of bring it together. But it starts with, and they're just kind of superimposed too, and you can tell that they're dancing. I didn't necessarily know the first time that was the jitterbug, but then you're like, what the fuck? Why the fuck is this movie starting like this? Because then it cuts to falling into the pillow. And if you didn't remember that by the end, you make the connection when you rewatch it and you're like, oh, she came to Hollywood because of the jitterbug. That's why this movie starts this way. There's a lot of things in this movie that kind of they're so weird. There's so much weird stuff that I feel like you kind of forget a lot of what you've seen as you've watched, because there's just so much to keep up with.
There really is. Instead of being a slew of characters, it's like a slew of little skits that get pieced together that you have to remember.
Well, and and again, that's kind of how dreams work a lot of times. At least for me, like when I have dreams, that's a big part of why I have a hard time remembering them. Is I'll be in a haunted house, and then I'll be like just driving down the road, and then I'll be working in the middle. I'll be fucking doing a desk job.
Then I'm pregnant.
Like,
I don't know how it got like that. I don't know.
Listen, if you spent hours on end stranded in a cave with a naked Anthony Hopkins, you would remember that one. Okay.
I will say, going back to that, I did remember something else. Something that's happened to me a lot lately, like with the last few years that didn't used to, is if I'm like, right as I'm waking up, I will often like go, I guess it's maybe technically lucid dreaming, but it's like go in and out of like in the same dream. Like I'll be awake and then like nod back off and be right back in the dream, which is a weird, like, and I'll notice that that's what's happening. It's really strange to kind of know that I'm going in and out of a dream actively. Like it's really strange. But I can't control it or anything. I'm just like aware of it as I'm waking up and
I've had a few
back
times
asleep.
where like I've realized I'm dreaming and have been able to control it, and it's usually like I want to go flying. So I'll realize I'm dreaming and I'm like, well, just taking off like Superman.
One last thing I want to get to about like the dream sequence that I think was also pretty cool. Like one of my favorite things that I didn't notice the first time, but that I definitely noticed the second time, is when she's making the pot of coffee and then she walks into the room and Camilla is naked on the couch, and then they kind of have that brief love scene, and Camilla's like, we shouldn't do this anymore, and everything goes to shit after that, right? She's got the coffee mug, and as she sets down the coffee mug, it's like a glass of soda or like a liquor. It was like that's it. Like it zooms in like really big on her pouring the cup of coffee, and then like when she walks into the other room and like now she's topless and sets like the glass down, you could miss it if you watched it 100 times.
I don't think I've ever saw it.
Watch it. It is fucking genius. Like it is so cool. It is just one of those things that like I will rewatch. Like after I noticed it, I rewatched it like 5 times and just kind of smirked at myself, like, you genius, Lynch. Like that is so good. Like good on you, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I love that. It's just like a little another wink that he's just kind of giving to you. Like pay attention to the little things. I think I didn't catch it, but I think there's a lot of emphasis on the ashtray as well in the movie.
Yeah, because the neighbor in the dream they go to find.
Oh yeah.
Diane.
Yeah.
And then the neighbor's like, "Oh, we switched apartments." She's down, and then they find a dead body. But apparently she switched apartments in real life because the neighbor's over there and like taking her box of dishes, and she takes that. She's like, "That's my ashtray," and takes it then. But then later you see that it's like he kind of zooms in and on. It's like prominently on the.
But it's right by the bed, right? So, but yeah, ultimately at the end of the movie, right? She kind of has
Club Silencio.
Yeah, which Club Silencio is telling you like everything that you see here is fake.
No,
like,
Ibanda.
Yeah, it's all pre-recorded. Everything that happens is like meant to distract you and make you think that it's real. It's not really real. Again, it's like another like final like, hey, hello, wake up, you know, and the performance that the Spanish singer gives before she collapses, even if it tells you it's fake, makes you feel like it is so real.
But that's what they're reacting, and they've been told multiple times that this isn't real, and they're both just getting like so emotional, and like I forgot too, because the actress singer does such a good job of like making it appear that she's really singing. And then when she collapses, is that when Naomi Watts starts to kind of like have a seizure?
Yeah,
that's basically her body like trying to force her to wake up.
Yeah, like that's the moment when she was just like, "Oh God, this isn't real. This isn't right."
Yeah. That's like the moment where like her body is like, you have to wake up. Like this is it. You're done. Time, you know. And then after that, of course, she wakes up. She kind of like snaps back to reality. Has her psychotic break. The old couple haunts her till she runs to her bed and like shoots herself. It is like one of the quickest, like less drawn out, but somehow still extremely dramatic deaths I've ever seen. It was really, well done, like the way they did that. And honestly, also right before she wakes up too, at one point the cowboy knocks on her door in the room and says, "It's time to wake up, pretty girl." Yeah, that was cool too. Like that's a nice little nod. Is like, hey, you've been in a dream this whole time. It's time to start realizing what's going on. So
I will say, of all the, everything in the first 2/3 you can make sense, or it doesn't need to make sense necessarily because to interpret this as her dream. But like, I haven't found an interpretation of that old couple coming after her in the end that works for me. I mean, I was on Reddit, like reading people's theories, and I was just like, that one, I just, I don't have any sort of explanation that makes sense aside from maybe she's truly lost her mind.
The biggest way that I saw it portrayed that made sense to me was that she blames them for her pain that she's going through now. Had they not chosen her, she would not have gone to Hollywood, would not have met Camilla, would not have fallen in love with Camilla, and got her heart broken, and live in this shitty ass apartment and be miserable and depressed, and like, so they're her main affliction.
So they were like the judges in the contest, essentially, sort of.
Yeah.
That's
so that's what I took from it, and that's what some of the theories have pointed out. I was like, all right, that makes the most sense.
I kind of thought of them as just like they were like somebody she met when she got there, and then they were rooting for her, but then kind of like.
Well, they're in the jitterbug contest at the very beginning.
Okay.
You see them, so that's why a lot of people think that they're the judges. They are like when all that stuff's going on the purple screen. They're in.
Well, it's so easy to forget about that because like it's right at the top, and like Allison said, like if you can kind of forget that that's even part of the movie if you don't until you rewatch it, and then you're like, oh yeah, like that was like, because it's like it's kind of strange, but it's also like, okay, like you don't know at that point what you're getting into.
It's funny that this movie comes out the same year that Memento does, because like they're essentially very different movies, but also very much the same in the sense that like they deal with memory loss and kind of give you little pieces along the way that you have to put together, and you really don't know what you're putting together until you've been revealed. And then once you watch it the second, third, fourth, fifth time, like you really start to develop, what happens and your theories and enjoy the movie more. And it's funny because like this movie, when I first watched it, while it does have some Memento qualities to it, my first thought was a different Nolan film, which was The Prestige. Just like the way they're put together are very similar to me. And again, like you watch it multiple times, the more you watch it, the more you start to piece things together and enjoy it and notice little things that you didn't notice even the second or third time you watched it. But the fifth time you're like, oh shit, how'd I miss that? So, anything else you guys want to say about this before we get into our bonus feature? Do we want to talk about the dinner scene? I mean, the dinner scene is pretty much like what sends her over the edge when she finds out that she's marrying the director, and you find out that the director's mom is the lady in her dream that runs the
apartments.
The apartment complex and all that, and so that gets kind of pieced together.
It's just you feel so bad for her because they're all, when she's kind of explaining, oh, I won this jitterbug contest, and you can just kind of feel the pity.
Yeah,
coming from the mother.
It's very much like old Hollywood. Like, oh, you think you're going to be like the next Judy Garland because you won a contest, and now here you are. Like, kick rock, kids. There's like 100 of you on every corner.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well, and I think it's we got at this a little bit talking about Naomi Watts, but just like she's part of why she's so good in this is probably because she is this person like who's just wants this so bad and is like eating it up. I mean, like this is, because she probably, I mean, what are the chances like she approached this as like this was going to be her like the biggest thing she ever did, and it, I mean, arguably was, because it's like critically at least probably will be the biggest thing she's ever going to do. But
do you think it bothers her that this was like her best movie, her best performance? She's not nominated for it, and it's also like something that everybody should see, but like only cinephiles really have watched it.
Maybe.
I'd be
She
interested to
got
hear
her
her
other
talk
2
about
Oscars, so.
Yeah, she did get nominated, so like down the road. So for
She won for 21 grams.
21 grams, and then she got nominated again.
The Impossible.
Okay, but even then, like, 21 grams, I'm sure is fine. I'm sure she's amazing in that movie. I'm sure she's great. I'm sure it's a very good movie. There's no way on earth she's better in that film than what she is in this movie.
I mean, I feel like that's like
no
typical
way.
Oscar stuff, though. Is like sometimes there's somebody who gets overlooked, and there's just this like, oh my god, I can't believe you missed it. And then the next year they're nominated for something that is like a lesser performance, and people vote.
I was
more.
like, even Halle Berry's probably been in better stuff than Monsters Ball. And
Is
like,
Halle Berry really an Oscar-worthy actress, though?
Well, we didn't draft
She's okay.
Monsters Ball, but I do think it's an interesting. That's an
I've never
interesting
seen Monsters
conversation.
Ball, so we can
I'll
watch
entertain that conversation. I would entertain that conversation.
Like now, I really want to watch Monsters Ball, but it's like Halle Berry, you ain't beating Naomi Watts, so like you already have a jaded opinion for me for this movie.
Well, that's what I was
just
like.
because
I was so dead set on like of the people nominated. Like it's hard for me to see like how Nicole Kidman didn't win, but
yeah,
this
honestly,
is still
yeah.
like this is
she's so good.
beyond like Nicole Kidman even, and that she was fucking awesome in Moulin Rouge. Like
That would have been so fun to watch, like those two campaign together and against each other at the same time, but like friendly, you know, like both of them I'm sure would have been ecstatic for the other person, but like even then, like it would have added to Naomi Watts and her character in this movie if she does get nominated and yet
Then
Nicole
loses.
Kidman wins. Like, it's so good. You know, they robbed us.
I'll
of
say
that.
this: I bet if she had gotten nominated, this movie would have been way more widely seen. Like more people would have seen this movie for sure. Because it's one thing for Lynch, because Lynch got nominated for Best Director, but like he's still just like the director and isn't like a Spielberg or a Nolan or whatever. Like he's someone appreciated again, by cinephiles, but it's not like he's like, I think he's grown like in time, like he's become a bigger person, but especially at this time he was just like, I mean this was like his penultimate movie too. He only makes one more movie after this, and then he does a Twin Peaks sequel, and
Which Naomi Watts is in, I believe, right?
oh, is she?
I think so.
She's in Inland Empire, his last movie.
Yeah, she's in the Twin Peaks: The Return.
He also did a short film after this called Robots, that Naomi Watts and Laura Harring are in the film together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd ever seen of David Lynch's before watching this
No,
movie,
not robots. It's rabbits. I'm sorry.
Rabbits.
Rabbits.
there might be robots in the thing I'm getting ready to talk about. The only Lynch thing I'd ever seen before this movie. Do you have any idea of what it could be?
David Lynch.
It's not a movie. It's not a TV show.
It's a music video.
Yeah,
He
he
did-
directed Nine Inch Nails.
He did music videos, so that wasn't it for me. He directed when the PlayStation 2 came out. He directed those weird fucking ads where it's like, "This is the third space." Like I used it in one.
You
of the
did
trailers,
use that.
and like,
Welcome to third place.
He directed those commercials, like. And it's like, of course he did. Like, of course those
Why
were
not?
David Lynch commercials.
Welcome to the third place.
PlayStation 2! The third place!
I can't stand Nine Inch Nails. I think their music's awful, and Trent Reznor like annoys the shit out of me. But one, they're actually really good as a music group for films. Like a lot of their stuff really does slap as far as like getting nominated for stuff. They crush it. But also like David Lynch is right up Nine Inch Nails' alley for music videos. Like I was not shocked one bit when I saw he was doing their videos. I was like, yeah, that tracks.
That tracks.
And honestly, he was probably making bank because that was at a time where like music videos
were a big
like
deal.
the shit.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that I've seen parts of David Lynch's Dune because I feel like it was on TV all the time when I was growing up. But the only other movie besides this that I've seen is The Elephant Man, which is, I told you all before the recording, I really liked. I think it's really good. John Hurt plays the Elephant Man. Anthony Hopkins is in it. He plays the doctor.
Is he naked?
He's not naked.
Oh.
But it's a very like straightforward movie. So it's interesting.
So it's not very like putting pieces together. Mystery.
It's you know.
Is it like a biopic about like the real Elephant Man?
It's kind of like it's based on this. This was like a real person, but and it involves he's in the freak show, and so there's like weird stuff in it, and it's all shot in black and white too. But it's just kind of a very straightforward story, and not as surreal and weird as he would go on to become.
Honestly,
Go ahead, Josh.
Oh, I was going to say I would say almost say the same thing about Blue Velvet. It's a little more surreal probably than it sounds like Elephant Man is, and it's a mystery. There is like a mystery. Well, it is basically a whole mystery, like a kind of noir mystery, but it is nowhere anything like Mulholland Drive in terms of the surrealism. Like, it is a much easier. There's some surreal elements, but it's different. Like, or at least how I interpreted it, how I watched it. I think just based on those are the only two I've watched, but I'm really excited I want to watch all of his movies because I just think he's just has such an interesting way of wanting to tell stories that he's a writer on most of his stuff too. So I think that kind of speaks to the control over it. And he just had a weird and interesting career. Like, his movies, there's nothing really similar about a lot of his movies until the end. It seems like, I think Lost Highway, and I've seen Lost Highway sort of described as like the prototype for Mulholland Drive, so that might be the one that is maybe most similar. But and like Inland Empire is shot on video, like the whole thing is shot on video, so it's kind of got a more grittier kind of look to it apparently. And Wild at Heart is one. It's like a black comedy, like heist movie or something. Like Nicolas Cage is in, and I fucking Nicolas Cage is like a fucking lunatic too. So I can't imagine him and Nicolas Cage working together. Like, that's crazy. So
I feel like Betty's like opening sequences, or when she's dreaming and everything else, I feel like that's shot with a different camera too. Like, there's certain times, and maybe because it was like fit for TV at that time, and like later in the movie it's more of it's a movie. I feel like the lens is different earlier in the film than it is later in the film, and I was wondering if that was intentional or if it was just different production company, different lenses. This was the TV episode pilot. This was a movie, right?
It's possible because it probably was pieced together. Like, I bet like some of it was shot as a TV show pilot, and then they went back and added the rest. So I bet
I would be curious if they reshot stuff or if they just used stuff from the pilot.
Yeah, no, that's like the opening stuff. Pretty much from what I understand, like everything leading up to when they break into the apartment and find the dead body is all first hour and a half is all pilot that had already been shot, and then they added the last hour, which somehow it says like they said it was 18 pages. I'm sure he started with 18 pages and must have had to have added more.
Been
rotting
on set, like sort of situation. I mentioned Willem Dafoe earlier. I could have sworn that was Willem Dafoe playing that fucking janitor, but I don't know who that guy is. It just looks a lot
when
like
you
him.
said that, I was like, am I tripping? You had a me moment because
but he is in Wild at Heart, so I'm not that. There was some connection there in my head, but like I was like, it does like I guess it just kind of has that face, but y'all should have told me to like that was a
dude.
That was
what did
a
you all
Play-Doh
let me?
moment.
Yeah, it's just so you let me say that Play-Doh shit. Fuck you guys.
Slate, that says more about me, just assuming that I was a dumbass that missed it.
I can't believe y'all let me quote that Play-Doh line. Oh, I hate it here. All right, okay. I think that's good. We've covered enough. I think we could talk about this movie for hours and not even really scratch the surface.
Without sounding too crazy about it, without David Lynch and Mulholland Drive, I'm pretty positive that Hannah Montana wouldn't have fallen in.
Is that right?
No, it just wouldn't have happened.
Like I said at the beginning of this episode, this movie was originally supposed to be a TV show, and later it became a film. Nowadays, we're seeing a major increase in movies being turned into TV series instead of the other way around. Obviously, this film does the opposite of that. And it also feels like the barrier between like television actors and actresses and big screen actors and actresses has been broken down, if not shattered completely. Like a lot of major film stars are now following the money and doing TV shows, even if they're in a limited capacity for like streaming services. Like, I really tend to believe that The Walking Dead was something that really sparked a change in the way that actors perceived continuous roles in television series. Like Norman Reedus, for instance, was not really making any money as a character actor in films as a supporting actor. And then he gets the role of Daryl Dixon and cashes in on like $20 million a year for quite a bit of time. And then multiple spinoffs that even turned into a show of him riding motorcycles across Europe, like with other people and everything else. So,
can I tell you my Norman Reedus anecdote real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So do you remember when he did that show? I guess it was for like Bravo or AMC, where he was riding his motorcycle across the country and visiting places. So my friend and I were in Vegas. I can't remember which year. We've gone like several times, but while we were there, we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And we decided to go see Zombie Burlesque. So we're like, yeah, as one does in Vegas. So we've got our tickets. We're like kind of waiting to go in, and all of a sudden there's this kerfluffle, and we just see like a giant like TV camera and like a sound guy, and I said, that is fucking Norman Reedus walking in to watch Zombie Burlesque with us. That's and he awesome. Was like sitting in the back. So people were like freaking out. So he walked by us. They let him in first. He was sitting in the back. And somebody, before it started, jumped up and turned around and was like, Daryl! And he just stood up and went like...
Give him double birds?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But how ironic to see Norman Reedus at Zombie Burlesque in Las Vegas.
Yeah, see, like, I remember him as the shitty boyfriend in Nicolas Cage's 8mm. I remember him in, like, Blade 3, like, those types of movies, right? And he just kind of doesn't really ever find his honey hole as an actor. Kind of stumbles.
You say honey hole?
Yeah, I don't know what else you would call it. He doesn't find his niche.
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm dying.
It's late. I'm sick. Okay?
Oh. I got the black lung. Oh shit! I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that down for later use. Oh, I'm crying.
Okay. Well, he just doesn't find his like groove, if you will. And it feels like he is like, why do I want to keep auditioning and fighting for a role that 18 other actors are also fighting for, when I've got like this recurring role that I can milk till I die and make as much money as I want off of it. It's weird. Like he's not the only actor. He's not even the biggest name actor that's done this now. You know, Kevin Costner did Yellowstone for 4 years, and then God bless him, decided he wanted to do Horizon, which ruined the Yellowstone series.
Took all his earnings.
Bankrupting. Way to swing big, Kevin. Sylvester Stallone in Tulsa King. Matthew McConaughey in True Detective. Kevin Bacon in The Following, which I love. Like, there's just a few, you know, like, there's tons of stars that are doing this now.
I mean, Nicole Kidman is in multiple HBO.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting nowadays, like, we're seeing movies such as Scream, Hannibal, Psycho, Child's Play, Fargo, It, The Purge, and, I mean, that's a lot of horror. But there's other genres, that's just what I dive into, but, like, you know, that have turned from full-fledged, like, movies into, like, a complete spin-off TV series that's either, like, a reboot or just a reimagining. Like, Scream was on MTV for 3 different seasons, and the first 2 seasons I thought were actually really good, but also, like, it keeps like the Scream like feel, but it's a completely different story, and it was really unique to see. So, you know, like, all right, I guess my question is, like, in television series, like especially designed for streaming services, are they ruining our ability like to watch an amazing movie? Like, or is it good to elaborate and explore those universes deeper and give the audience an overconsumption of something that can hold their attention for multiple years?
So I think It probably kind of comes down to money. So streaming services becoming big, and then, you know, producers kind of seeing like, oh, this is becoming a thing. The experience of going to a movie, I still love going to movies, but I will admit I have lots of friends that just like, it's so expensive. People are assholes. People are like on their phones talking to, it's become like kind of an unpleasant experience in a lot of ways. You pay a lot of money to go there. And then post-COVID, just getting people back in the theaters. Like, it's just, the theaters are struggling so much, and like movies are so expensive that I almost feel like it's, well, we could just turn this into a TV show and it would probably be a little bit cheaper and we'd probably basically make more money off of it. And I mean, sometimes having 10 episodes to tell a story is great, but other times I've watched limited series where I'm like, you were just like giving me 2 hours of filler because you had a 10 episode order, you know, to tell this story.
Yeah. They spent the whole hour talking about, like, you know, one character's reason why he can't tie his shoes.
Yeah, I think Netflix has largely been a net negative in terms of creativity in TV, despite also making, especially early, a lot of great TV shows. Like some of the stuff that, I mean, like there's been, because I think like the turning point really is House of Cards. Like that's really kind of the one that really becomes the first, like their first like big originally produced thing. And Kevin Spacey, you know,
Yeah.
We won't even get into his fucking mess, but like his shit, but like it was a massive thing that he was part of this show, and he was fits in the same stuff you were talking about with
such
Kevin
a good
Costner
actor
knows.
too, man.
And that show just becomes massive. He's a big part of it, and then it, you know, but then it starts spinning its wheels and gets into that mode where it's like you're just trying to feel, you know, you want people hooked for 8 hours. You want them to keep watching. So you keep just doing stupid bullshit. And it's like, and I mean, I know Netflix does movies, but like I don't know that anything that they've like really been involved with is like, I'm probably forgetting something. I'm sure there's something I've loved. But
they're responsible for Knives Out.
Right? Yeah, well, yeah, they pay for them.
They you know put it in the theater for a week, and I would argue that that's one of the few things I've watched that I've really enjoyed, all three of them. But
hey, The Rip is really good.
Yeah, I still haven't tuned back in, but I fell asleep in the first 5 minutes.
You mean the movie where Matt Damon said he was told to like restate the plot 4 times because people aren't paying attention?
Yeah, and that's what I like really struggle with watching like they're just so, but that is how people watch stuff. So it's also like it's hard for me to say that they're doing the wrong thing when that is how people consume things, sadly. I mean, like it's like why they go to the movie theaters, Allison, and sit on their phones. It's because that's what they're used to doing at home. So it's hard. Like I struggle with it.
I go to the movie theater because it forces me to be fully immersed, you know, and I get so much more out of it.
I've even started like for this show, because I want to take notes, but like I've also started like trying not even do that. Like I've really tried to put my phone out of my sight when I'm watching stuff at home if I can, and even if it's at the detriment of like, well, I'm just going to take notes the second time I watch it, you know, kind of thing. And I do think it's interesting the TV thing, like just how stuff getting adapted to the TV increasingly, because like that did happen a lot still, but it was happening for kids. Like when RoboCop came out, like there was an animated RoboCop show. Like it was a fucking R-rated movie
that's crazy.
No business watching, but they turned it into an animated show for kids, and like there was a lot of stuff.
So was the kids show like You're Coming With Me, injured or alive?
Does he shoot somebody's dick off?
And I've never watched it, so I don't know, but. And like Beetlejuice, I mean Beetlejuice. I think you brought up Beetlejuice before, Allison. Like the cartoon and
the cartoon is so funny.
Men in Black, like the fucking Godzilla movie had a spin-off, like an animated, which is way better than the movie. Like, and then the real Ghostbusters, which there's a funny story behind that whole thing.
Jackie Chan had his own animated series.
Jackie Chan,
awesome.
and that was because he was just a movie star. Like
it was
crazy.
Awesome.
Like it was a great show. Like, and
it's so good.
And so all that stuff kind of just migrated into because. And I'm part of this. I mean, I've contributed to this. Like, I'm a big Power Rangers crazy psycho, but like, we're just a very infantile kind of society right now. Like, we kind of like nobody grew up, and like, I'm not saying that in a pejorative sense, but like, we kind of just want to keep eating the same shit we've ate, like largely as a culture. And I think it's just interesting to. I think that speaks to part why that's happening too, is because you're just trying to bank on things that have worked. And I think the one thing that is very similar to this movie and like the movies we talked about with Best Picture that are nominated, like I think the biggest movies that are like that have the biggest chance of winning Best Picture this year, the two, One Battle After Another and Sinners, those are both. I mean, One Battle After Another is adapted from a book, but they're both very like they both feel like movies that I haven't seen before, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, like that's the, you know, that's what I want more out of movies than anything, and TV. Like I want to see stuff I haven't seen before. Like I love the first season of Severance. I haven't watched the second season, but like that was something that was significant for me. And I still think the TV, like I mean, I love like stuff like Righteous Gemstones, but that's, you know, that's more like it's not a prestige thing. But
I was getting ready to mention like Righteous Gemstones seems like the perfect thing that like, okay, you've got your 4 seasons of it, right? And somehow they have one big blow off 2-hour movie that like is the last.
That would be awesome. Like that's a space where like, because I know like Bridgerton's done that, where you had like a movie kind of like as a finale, even though they had
Downton Abbey.
Downton Abbey. That's what I'm thinking of.
Gemstones would be perfect for that. I feel like, you know.
And I mean, yeah, because and again, it's like John Goodman. I mean, it's Danny. I mean, it's big actors. I mean, I know Danny McBride starred in TV.
Hey, he's amazing. Okay, he's a great actor. I love him.
I mean, I think he's largely himself in most of the things he plays. But like I love Righteous Gemstones. Like Righteous Gemstones is probably my favorite show, honestly, that I've watched since Breaking Bad. So
it's so good. I do want to mention a few things that you skipped over when you were talking about like Netflix movies that were Oscar nominated or very like must see movies, right? Roma is not one that I'm very well aware, but it was like a big deal.
That's Alfonso Cuarón, right?
Yeah.
Yes. The Irishman, of course, Scorsese's masterpiece. You've got All Quiet on the Western Front, and Marriage Story was another one that was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, they've had like Oscar play stuff, and so it's like, I'm not saying like they haven't been involved with good things, but I don't know. I just get, to me, like so much of like how they operate is geared around like killing movies. And so
I'm honestly surprised that House of Dynamite, that didn't get like nominated for really anything this year, did it? With like the political
House of Dynamite, is it like about like a bomb or something?
Yeah, like a nuclear war is about to happen. But I just like political climate, nuclear war. Idris Elba's in it. There's actually a crazy cast in it. I've heard great reviews of it. I saw a little bit of it before I fell asleep the other night. But dude, I watch movies like 10 o'clock and put it on, and 20 minutes later I'm out.
Slate, I get it. I mean, I was watching A Knight's Tale last night.
A movie
that I love, and fell asleep and woke up in the middle of the night very confused as to why my TV was still on.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, I think that it's weird. I don't want to say television series are ruining movies, but I do think that they are affecting them. And I don't think that they're like, and I think they do affect them somewhat in a negative way. I think they can enhance movies too, though. Like, I think that I can go back and watch Andy Muschietti's Stephen King's It and It Chapter 2 now. And after watching season 1 of Welcome to Derry, I have an even more appreciation for those films. And when season 2 and season 3 of Welcome to Derry come out, and you fully get the full picture of Pennywise. At first, when I was like, we don't need that, right? Like, do I want more Bill Skarsgård in my life as Pennywise? Absolutely. Do I need to know Pennywise's backstory? No, I don't want to know it, but like, now I'm invested. The show is great. So if the second and third season can elaborate and do just what he did in the first season as well, or close to it, I'm all in for it. And I think it does make me appreciate the movies that they did as well. And I think the movies are amazing on their own. So it's like a bittersweet type thing.
I've just, I guess, become, and this is a character flaw, I guess, somewhat. Like, I've just become so much more averse to the franchiseification of everything. Like, and again, I'm a hypocrite because, like, I will eat up every fucking single new thing, what's this Power Rangers show that Disney Plus is doing, like I'll be all into it. It could be the worst. It could be the worst thing that's ever happened, and it will still be. I'll still watch every second of it. Like I'm.
Is
I'm
there
part
really
of the
not
problem.
like? Is there really not like anything Power Rangers that you dislike?
Oh
like,
yeah,
you've got to be a diehard fan that you hate something. Right?
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, like there's, comics I've not liked and different seasons of the show and stuff that I just don't go back to. But it's, I will still give it all a chance. Now it's like things like Welcome to Derry though. Like I have heard a lot of good things about it, but like I have no if I ever watch that, I won't be surprised. But like it's not. There's 1,000 TV shows I haven't watched that I would rather watch before diving into that, even though I like those movies. Good. Like I like it, especially the first one. It's
really good.
TV's hard because it's like it's a real commitment, especially if there's a show you're a few seasons behind on. Because I know,
and especially if you're making a podcast about movies.
Okay, but like also, for instance, like Colin Farrell in The Penguin, the season, like there's only one season of The Penguin.
The Penguin is pretty awesome.
The Penguin is one of the greatest series, like seasons of TV I've ever seen. It is so good. It is so good. Like, Josh, did you watch the Batman?
Oh yeah, I like the Batman. Yeah, I like
the Penguin's really, it's worth your time.
It is absolutely 100% worth your time. It is amazing. You need to make that a priority.
I might get around to it.
It's so good.
I gotta watch a Black Knight in a couple weeks. We'll see.
Yeah, we got A Knight's Tale and Black Knight. Yeah. Final question here. The reason why we all came, and I think it's probably a consensus not only with us, but 87% of other people who've watched it. Does this movie matter?
Yes. Case closed.
Yep.
I mean,
anybody want to elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, it matters because I think it's just such a experience. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, and that's a little bit of a cop out, but it just makes you feel so many different ways. And I think even as you watch it, like again, the first time, the entire time I was watching it was like so just tense and anxious, like not knowing what was going to happen, but like not in a bad way. It's like a good anxiety almost, even though it's like very unsettling. And then the second time it's you're a little less put off, but also like it's just amazing how much of it still works. Like even as you're watching the second time, everything or at least you think what's happening, and just how effective it is. And like that song, I mean, shit, like again, like that song has just been stuck in my head since I rewatched it the second time a couple weeks ago, and every little, like, it's just so good. And I feel like to me this is like peak movie, and just like what movies can be and what movies ought to be in terms of, I mean, not everything can be like a fucking masterpiece, but like this is a masterpiece to me. Like there's no, I can't describe it any other way than like this is just a really excellent movie and something that everybody should watch, and it'll make you whatever, and whether you really even care about movies, I think you don't even, like, you should give it a chance to, if you're not like a cinephile or whatever. Like it's just something you should submit yourself to in terms of just like broadening your emotional experience with movies.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm gonna say that I think this movie matters for the simple fact that I think that 20, 30 years from now, there's going to be a director who pays homage to this film the same way that he pays homage to, Vertigo and Sunset Boulevard and Wizard of Oz, like movies that he clearly like adored and inspired him and like motivated him to make this movie. And I think that like we're gonna get that from another director that's gonna follow a David Lynch style with their own spin on it. And not only that, but it matters in the sense that, again, in 2001, this was supposed to be a TV show. So Naomi Watts, Justin Theroux, and Laura Harring were this close to being stuck in a TV show that probably maybe not have taken off. Like ABC wasn't really willing to support it. and could have been seen as like one of those things by like the third episode. People are just out on it because it's too weird, doesn't make sense, whatever. They never get around to the like what really is going on. And because let's be honest, like at this time, Lynch, I think, learned from Twin Peaks that once you solve the mystery, the show's not exciting anymore.
Yeah, that was the thing you heard about, at least from what I've read about that show, is like a lot of people think like the first season's incredible, and then
after that, what
peters out because you kind of know what's happened. And I think that's also interesting to think about with this movie is like, what would this have been if it was a TV show? Like, I think that it's an entirely different.
You
like,
have
it's
a detective
not what it
at
is.
the beginning of this movie, like searching for, like searching this mystery for the missing woman, and then he's never in this movie the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and like the whole, like maybe it's not even a dream. Like maybe the whole way the whole thing is even put together is so different if it's a TV show, Like it's so a big kind of one of those sliding door moments,
So, but what I mean is that I absolutely think it matters, like I said, for inspiring directors to do things that, in a Lynch way and pay homage to this movie, but also the, effect it had on, Justin Theroux and Naomi Watts and Laura Harring. Like they could have been pigeonholed into these roles and it never takes off. And then Naomi Watts is somebody we've never heard of again. And she really is Diane, like reincarnate. So, that's why I think it matters.
I think it's interesting that we went this entire conversation and you didn't bring up that Justin Theroux was one of the writers on Tropic Thunder. I just assumed that was like a given that you were going to bring that up.
We talked about that in another episode, I thought.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We talked about him being in Tropic Thunder. I didn't know he was a writer for it.
He's like essential to your being.
I love Tropic Thunder so much. You know what's funny? No lie. I was watching my girlfriend's kids the other day while she was at work, and we were watching Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and Brandon T. Jackson plays Grover in that.
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino drinks some booty sweat, baby.
Wait, so you were watching the movie?
Yeah, Percy Jackson the movie.
I thought you were talking about the TV show.
No, the movie. And I pointed at Grover, Brandon T. Jackson on the stage or on the film, and I was like, "You see that guy?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "I met him." They're like, "What?" Like, he's like, Phoenix is 5, like, he's like, "How you met him?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I pulled up a picture of when I met Brandon T. Jackson at Lexington Comedy Off Broadway. And he signed my copy of Tropic Thunder and took a picture with me. And I was like, "Yeah, look, I'm friends with the movie star." And they're like, "Oh, that's cool," so that's so cool. Just a little flex. So, but Allison, obviously we believe that you think this movie matters too, but I'd love to hear you elaborate.
I think it's really important to watch movies that are outside of what you would normally watch. And I was assigned to watch this movie when I took my film criticism class, and I probably would have never watched it if I hadn't. And taking that class honestly opened me up to a lot of different stuff. But I was really surprised seeing some of those movies, including this one, at how much I got from it after watching it, when I just, a lot of it had like no appeal to me because, I'm just some dumb bitch from Eastern Kentucky that loves like comic book movies and,
Hard on yourself, man.
Yeah, Jesus, Allison. This is a family show. Relax.
I mean, like when you grow up without a lot of variety in pop culture, maybe that's kind of the way to say it. And, the closest movie theater, I think, as I've said in another episode, was, 45 minutes away. So it's not like I watched like a ton of stuff growing up. My parents weren't super into movies and everything, but I would say this movie is so important because it tells a story in a way that you've never seen. If you kind of break down the theme of the story is like, it's the dark side of Hollywood, right? And kind of showing how it chews people up and spits them out. I think you can boil down the overall thing to that, but it is told in such an interesting way that really makes you think. And we need more thinking in this country in this era.
Amen.
So
amen to that. And it makes you think, like, critically, but also, like, I just think it makes you think in a way, like, it doesn't, almost that you don't feel like you're thinking, as if that's weird. Like, it makes you, it just sends your mind in different directions.
It gets the gears turning, right? Like,
yeah, and like, and even if you feel, like, to me, it's like I've never watched something and felt more confused, like, about it after watching it the first time, but also, like, also being so excited to go back and watch it again. Like it's very rare to feel that way.
Yeah. Allison, I gotta ask. Like, you said you had to watch this for a film critique class.
Mm-hmm.
So did the teacher say, "All right, guys, like we're gonna watch this movie, and I want you to critique it and like give a review of it, like if you were Roger Ebert, and like."
No, it was more. He assigned us a lot of, like, kind of. I think I told you, like, we watched Rashomon, we watched Seven Beauties, we watched this, we watched Memento, we watched Bamboozled, and he was just kind of having us watch all these different genres of kind of groundbreaking films, and then we would talk about, like, meaning and allegory. So, I mean, we would have a conversation in class that's kind of like the one that we had today, where we're kind of talking through, like, what do you think this meant, and then we'd usually, like, you know, write an essay about each movie.
I got you.
Kind of covering a specific element of it.
Because I imagine him being like, we're going to watch this movie, and then I want you all to write a review of it, like if you were Roger Ebert, and what you would rate it. And like anybody who gives it like a shitty rating is like, you're failing this class. Yeah, you don't get it. You suck. Like, just having like, all right, Jeffrey, you gave this movie 2 stars. Start reading why. And he gets like one sentence in wrong, just belittling them, you know, bullying them into like realizing how dumb they are for not liking the movie. I don't know. Okay. Well, if you all have made it this far, listening to me sniffle and cough and all of those things.
Between the three of us, like putting ourselves on mute so we can hack and sneeze and cough.
I noticed
this will be great video for YouTube.
I've had snot come down my nose multiple times. It's bad, man.
We're going to get blocked on YouTube for all the bodily fluids.
Yeah, and I'm muting my mic, and I realized a couple times, like when I coughed, my mic was not close enough, like not quick enough to mute it. So, anyways, sorry for that. But if you've made it this far, it's time to wake up, pretty girl. Our show notes are in the description, along with links to all our online hangouts. Please leave reviews on your favorite podcast app and like us on Facebook.
Still need to activate the Facebook as of this recording. Haven't started a Facebook yet.
I didn't mean
on
Facebook.
YouTube.
I meant YouTube. I even have YouTube here in the notes.
Are we sure this isn't a dream?
Yeah.
This is such a... Oh, man. All right. Like the video on YouTube. Share. Comment. Like. Subscribe. All of that. Please comment and tell us what you think about this movie. Theories you have. Talk about Oscars. Like, engage with us. We are definitely here for that. That's what we want to do is build a fan base where we can converse. That's what movies are made for. Like, let's talk.
Yeah, watch these movies and talk to us about it. Like, even if it's something that we talked about 2 months ago, like, you know, bring it back and we can revisit it and have some conversations about it. We'll eventually do like a mailbag episode or something and just let people, you know.
Absolutely. I'm down for that. 100%. Josh, Allison, anything you guys want to say on the way out?
Oh, just watch this movie. Give it a chance.
I concur.
Okay, fair enough. Tune in next week as we talk about another film that won the Oscar for Best Documentary. Josh is going to be heading our conversation about Murder on a Sunday Morning. And we've already recorded that episode. And, man, like, whew, amazing conversation with our guest. I hope you all check that episode out. Please do yourself a favor. Check that episode out. It is probably...
Watch that movie. It's on YouTube, right?
Yeah. I was getting ready to say that
it's on Tubi, too.
On Tubi.
Yeah, that movie is on Tubi and YouTube for free. So you can watch it and, like, just dive right in and enjoy it for free because it is as important as it was then. It's just important as it is today. And the conversation that we have is definitely probably my favorite and I think our most serious one, but also interesting as well.
And I'm so glad that Slate's friend was there to join us because I had literally zero voice and it is painful to listen to me say the 3 sentences I said during that record.
Yeah, give Allison grace next week's episode.
I was struggling hard.
Yeah. Well, I'm riding the struggle bus today, so... but yeah, please go watch it. Join us on our next episode. And remember, guys, don't believe all the hype when you're told that it's one of the world's finest espressos. And don't forget the napkin.
And scene.
Smell you later.
Oh, God.
Pretty girl.
Yeah, you smelled her all right. She's dead. They smelled her.